Bland, I mean, they say he got sore, so he just said we just don't have to do anything right for the bye week. So I think he's gonna be fine for this week. We just kind of, as they always do, take it slow with guys come back from injury. So I think we'll get Bland back this week or next week. He comes.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, did you see that Davey? I don't know about he was practicing and all of a sudden he was basically like a DNP. So the speculation was that maybe he had a setback. So I don't know. I don't know.
They talked about the setback. Setback was he got sore.
Mm,
His foot got sore, so they said, you know what, we're not gonna push it because we're going into the bye week. And then now he's out there. This was today. He's out there on the course or whatever. So I think
yeah,
they just taking a slow approach, and he'll
yeah.
be back.
I don't know if he's. Do you think he's? Do you think he's back? Are you confident he's back this week? Because I'm not confident he's back this week. That's what I'm saying. I think
I'm
he might be
about
good for Atlanta.
I'm about 70% sure.
Okay.
So I'm about 70% sure. I mean, we'll see what the Friday one injury reports show up, but I'm about 70% right now. Uh, we'll see. I see. I got to see what they do on Friday. I see how you do on Friday. I think McCarthy's all about the practice. Supposedly, they got to practice before you put them out there. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, whoever wants to show up, man, just show up. Just at least make it fun to watch. I don't even care what your name is at this point. Just do something. Like the meme with the guy with the stick. Like just do something. Come on.
Come on, do math.
This is
I mean, I'm more like since we kind of level the playing field. I'm actually getting kind of somewhat excited because hell, I thought that was gonna be a Slaughterville out there, but shit, since everybody's starting to get hurt on their side too, I'm like, well, shit, we might have a chance here. But if they get blown up by this team, then McCarthy got to go. He cannot leave San Francisco. He got to stay his ass right there and do not come if we get blown up by a team that got all their superstars on the sideline except one. And well, I don't think Perkins is a superstar. I think he's a good quarterback, but just saying, if you get beat by this team, blown out like a Detroit type of shit, yeah, he can't. He can't. I'm sorry, Jerry. You gotta let that motherfucker go. Ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell.
yeah. What here's a good topic. What do y'all think about the silliness about the players supposedly saying or not saying that the facility is like a circus with the tours and
Oh,
stuff?
I sort of saw that. I don't even, and I know, I know it. I'm guessing from some of the stuff that I read that you posted that it pisses you off. It's
It's just
sort of
stupid.
like, I know to me, it's just like I don't even really give it much time because it's just again, I don't really have much. I'll say it like this, Dylan. I don't have much like I don't put much stock in it or respect for it because like, did you say that when you were here? Like,
Exactly.
if you wanted that to change and you didn't like it, like I'm the type of person that I would say like, hey man, like, and I know that doesn't necessarily mean it would, but like I have the sneaky suspicion that this is like when someone maybe like doesn't love their job type of thing, but then they leave and then they're like, oh yeah, everyone there sucks. I hate that job, blah blah. But like you were like you didn't say that for the last 6 years.
Yeah, you were part of the problem, right?
Like so
Yep.
were you cool with it, or is it just because now you're gone, like you feel you're in a safe space? Like what is it? I don't
I
know.
think
It, so
sometimes these guys go to different teams and they feel like excuse me, they feel like they've got to prop up their new team and they do that by putting down their old team. And I think that's just like a human nature thing that they're doing.
it's just weird to me though. Like
It is, and apparently, two of those guys that reported in the report there didn't even say it. Fowler called it out and said he never said that, and then who was the corner there that we let go that we traded?
Noah Igbenogany.
No, the second round pick that didn't work. Kelvin Joseph, he was in the report, and apparently he said it, but then he came out and said that that's not true.
Yeah,
So
well that doesn't surprise me either, right? Like people manufacturing a story
it's
off of
Cowboys, man, right?
yeah.
It's like they know people are going to be outraged. You could just say anything at all. And this is where I'm like, I'm trying to play devil's advocate often because of this dog pile on Jerry Jones. And I get that there's a lot of shit to be critical of on Jerry Jones. But I'm just kind of like, I'm tired of hearing it. And it's all we're going to hear all season. And it's legit. A lot of it is legit. But I'm like, the guy could, like, I don't know, freaking sneeze. And you'd be like, that's why the Cowboys haven't won in 30 years, because he sneezes like a weirdo. Like, I just think that some of the criticisms are like, it's too much. And I'm like, let's just stick to the stuff that's actually like legitimate. And I don't want to dogpile for the sake of dogpiling.
What it do, baby?
What's up, David?
Yo, what up?
Yo, I had some trouble. Getting speaking privileges and stuff. My thing kept cutting me off, and it didn't want me in here. It didn't want me bringing no energy because I'm listening. I'm listening, and you guys are like, yeah.
Did you hear me? Did you see the trouble I had last week, David, with it? I was in and out.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Twitter.
No, you know
Twitter's
what?
Weird.
Everything was a little bit shaky though. It was just weird. It was acting up. So you're good though.
What, David? You want to bring it?
No, yeah, I kind of like, bro. I agree. I agree with what Dylan's saying, man. Because I mean, dude, that's the number one thing. That's how I know. That's how I've known. Not know. That's how I've known for years if I'm gonna carry a conversation with somebody about the Cowboys or I'm not. If they bring up the Cowboys, one, I could just tell from the way they say it. I'm like, you're not really a fan. You're just trying to spark up conversation, which is nice and that's polite and I appreciate it. But if I'm like, oh yeah, they're doing pretty good, yada yada, and if the first thing that they say is, they're never going to win anything until Jerry. I'm like, all right, bro. I'm not going to talk Cowboys with you, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just copying what this guy said, what that guy said, what your grandpa said, what your auntie said. You don't really know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't waste energy. I don't waste energy talking to people who I'm like, not that I'm smarter than anybody because I don't feel like I necessarily am, but I'm invested and passionate about this team. So when someone just immediately comes in with like, oh, just Jerry Jones, you're never going to win anything with him. I'm like, all right, bro, we can shut it down. You know what I mean? Politely, I'll shut it down.
Yeah, no doubt. That's exactly, that's a good barometer, man. If they just come in with the generic talking points that they talk about on like ESPN and shit, it's like, no thanks, dog. No thanks. I'm outie.
David, go ahead.
What's up, guys?
Yo.
Thanks for
doing
this. What's up, Cowboy Nation? I love it. This is pretty cool. I just kind of ran across this. I was like, oh, I'm gonna check this out. So
sweet.
Thanks for putting this on, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro.
But just real quick on the this is my take on this whole thing. Here's my take. These dudes get paid millions of fucking dollars, right? And you're gonna tell me that they get unfocused based off people walking through a building? I mean, I don't know, dude. I call BS on that. That doesn't make no sense to me. You're gonna get paid that kind of money, and you're gonna get distracted by some people walking through a building. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. No way, dude. I'm sorry. These guys are professionals, man. They should be on their A game, focused in. Nobody else should be distracting them. I just find that to be complete fucking bullshit, in my opinion.
You're not wrong. And I put out a whole video the other day by talking about it. I was in Nix's chat here the other day using our thing here. What up, Nix? I'm talking about professionalism, and professionalism isn't just about like getting your paycheck and playing on Sunday. It's the shit you do during the week to get ready for games. And it's like McCarthy's catching a ton of flack for not having these guys ready in practice. All these guys are saying that practices are piss poor, walkthroughs are piss poor, and maybe that's got something to do with the way the practices are structured. I know he's changing that now to maybe make it a little more team friendly instead of individual based, groups. But like at the same time, y'all are professionals. You're professionals. So your job is to watch film, is to try shit in practice. And if you fuck it up, do it better, learn from it. Otherwise, like show up to practice and practice. And the fact that you continue to have bad practices, to me, is unprofessional. That's inexcusable and unprofessional.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that too, because one thing that, because I remember Dalton Schultz, when he first left and he got to Houston, that's one of the first things he said. He said, I feel like a zoo animal over there at the Cowboys facility, yada, yada. He said it. Curse was talking about it, recently. Fowler already came out and said he didn't say it. So, like, the pattern for me, and maybe this is just me being harsh, because these guys are way higher level athletes than me, way, whatever. But I'm like, bro, y'all aren't doing crap with y'all's next team either. You know what I'm saying? Like, respectfully, Pollard, I mean, he's doing okay, but that team just kind of sucks. And Fowler obviously didn't say it. And Schultz isn't really doing much with Houston, in my opinion. You know what I mean? He's not lighting it up. He's not, when he was with us, he was arguably one of the top 5 tight ends. You know what I mean? It's like all these people are just talking. They're like clinging on to the Dallas Cowboy name, they miss it. That's really, in my opinion, that's what it is. They miss it. They're just clinging on however they can. It's like, nah, bro, you're gone. You go. If you want it peaceful, you want it all be about football, you go ahead and be about football. Just keep our name out your mouth, kind of, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I also came with that. My kids went down early. I came with that energy today, so it might just be me.
I think they're just saying shit to make their new team feel better. I don't think it's like I don't think they really feel that way. I think they're just trying to say my new team is better and this is why. And that's like that's what they all say. But at the same time, there's a certain prestige that comes with, and I made a post about this earlier. There's a certain prestige that comes with being a Dallas Cowboy. All right, that gets you national recognition, so it results in higher pay eventually if you play well because you're on more nationally televised games. More people are seeing you, people are noticing you, so you get more of a shot to play well and be noticed. And you're getting better brand deals. Like there's a whole thing that comes with being a Cowboy that benefits you, all right? And if you got to have somebody coming through tapping on the damn glass while you're trying to do squats, just fucking deal with it if that's what's happening. Like, does that really matter at the end of the day? Like, is it that bad where every single day like you're dealing with this shit? Probably not, honestly. And I see people, I've had multiple people tell me that they've gone through tours and never seen a player. So I don't know, man. I don't know how true that really is.
If any of you guys want to come watch me do squats, you can. It won't bother me.
Bro, I was about to say that, dude. I mean, I walk into the gym, I start doing squats, and it's like it's so distracting. Everybody's just watching. They're just checking me out. They're like, "Oh, there's Sue. He's back. Wow." It's just like it gets distracting.
It's because you got nothing on but a G-string, bro. It's weird.
But instead of saying something, David, you wait till you go home and then you say it and you like blast everybody. They're like. Man, every time I'm there, it's a freaking zoo, man. Like, but you never say anything to the people that are.
You're one of those people that got the camera and you're just recording everybody. Like, how dare these people look at me while I'm working?
Oh yes,
exactly.
That's a hot.
Nah, but I thought. I mean,
Were
I
you
thought
looking
it was.
at me, bro? You got like 8 cameras pointed at you.
It was a decent, topic of discussion. I think for a little bit, I think, like you said earlier, Dylan. People are just with a little stick poking the world like the meme, just like do something.
Yeah.
And I think Cowboys Twitter just like saw something and they just like jumped all over it. Like, oh my God, there's something to talk about. Because right now there's a lot to talk about, but you have to be like nerdy like us to want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like you have to be nerdy about, how this game's going to go and this and that. People don't want to invest that time and that effort into actually understanding their team and understanding the cap and understanding, how this stuff works. So instead they just jump onto whatever little headline they can and they're like, oh my God, so that's just my take on it. Bro.
I'm not saying that they're lighting it up, David, but I was just curious when you said that, and I know you said what's his Fowler is one of the ones that said he didn't say anything, but I was just straight up curious how they were doing, and looks like Dorrance has 3 sacks right now, and Fowler has 4.5 with that in that pick 6 he had, so they're getting.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention Dorrance.
Yeah.
Because Dorrance is doing well, and then Fowler, I mean, I've always really liked him. You know what I mean? But he just came out and said that he didn't say it. So
yeah.
But as far as the other ones, I'm like, dude, you're just kind of clinging. You know what I'm saying?
We can keep it a buck. The Schultz one was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about motivation of why he said it, like he didn't get paid. Like if you don't think he was, and I'm not blaming him for being salty, but his situation was he was salty. He didn't get paid. Let's keep it a buck.
100%, dude. I agree.
I mean, I agree too. I mean, at the end of the day, I saw something with you.
You got muted, Davian. Where'd you go? Come on back, buddy.
No, I was saying seriously, how in the hell did we got J-Ron Curse saying something? He not even got a job right now. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, people don't understand. I talked. Who? Oh, Danucci, yeah. And he said he don't have a job. Well, he's somebody third back quarterback or something.
Nooch came back though and was like, it was not a problem. Like he talked about how it happened, but he was like, it was never a problem or a concern in a separate post. He was like, it was fine, and I missed those days and being there and that occurring. So he didn't have a problem with it. I love Nooch. I think Nooch is hysterical.
And my thing is, without this tour of the star, I wouldn't have got to see. I was there the day LVE got drafted, so I got to see him get off the helicopter, come into the star, his first day at the star. So I'm like, people don't understand. It's all about the experience, and Jerry tries to get that experience to his fans. That I'm not for. I mean, I don't have money growing out of trees. I can go see games every week. So if I can get up and close person, see these guys in their natural elements, so it's pretty cool.
But yeah, I think you got to ask people too, and David M, because we got 2 Davids here. I think you had your hand up, and then I think our other David. I think he had his hand up too. But let me just say this real quick. The fans are gonna bitch and complain, and it's gonna be a two out of both sides of their mouth kind of thing, right? Because the Cowboys get all the national spotlight. They're on all of these primetime games. They get all this notoriety and attention, and it's all we ever hear about. And you know what, man? Speaking for myself, and probably I would assume for most people, I love it, dude. I love it. I want all the coverage I can get of the Cowboys because I can't get enough of it. Stick it in my veins and pump it through, baby. But there's something that comes with that, right? The reason they're so popular is because of what Jerry has built here. And what he has built, it can be somewhat of a circus sometimes. But that just comes with the territory of all this other cool shit that we get to experience and do and see. So it's like you can't have the brand and enjoy the Cowboys for what they are as a brand and all this extra shit that's cool without some of the supposedly negative things like the tours coming through and poking on fucking windows while you're trying to do squats. Like if that's the negative, whatever, man. I know there's other stuff too that's much more serious than this, but this is just the topic of the day, so this isn't that big of a deal to me.
Hey, real quick, there's a reason why the Dallas Cowboys are the richest franchise in sports. That's because of what Jerry Jones does. I know a lot of people don't like the shit he does. Some like what shit he does too. There's definitely why they are what they are, and it's because he does what he does. So, I mean, you got to look at it on both ends of the stick, man.
100%. And as a GM, he's been okay. He's put together some good teams. I'm not going to dogpile on him, like I said before, where it's just kind of everybody take a swing at Jerry the Pinata right now for good reasons and not good reasons. Everybody's swinging at this point. I'm not going to be that guy. I took a step back and I just kind of looked at the whole picture and I'm like, Jerry built this cool-ass thing as an owner. Like, I appreciate him as an owner. As a GM, he has flaws. We all know his flaws. He doesn't participate in free agency. He doesn't know how to structure deals, I think, appropriately in today's NFL and the way some other teams structure deals creatively.
Or pick up the phone.
Or pick up the phone when it rings. So he's got it on silent, apparently. So he has his flaws as a GM, but he's also put together some good teams too, and I'll recognize him for that as well. Even though
he can answer it, Dylan. He just can't pick it up and dial.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Maybe he dropped it in the screen crack or something. I don't know. He's old. He's got those brittle hands. I don't know.
He's got like that iPhone 37.
Yeah. David, you want to say something? Papa Sue?
Yeah, I actually didn't, but it's actually good that you just said Papa Sue, and it's cool that there's another David in here because I actually, bro, outside of like this and the storyline, I don't go by David. I go by Sue. Like since I joined the military in 2011, I've always gone by Sue. So like if y'all wanted to, if there's ever another David in here, or if y'all can get used to calling me Sue, you can. But I just never changed it because once Nick knew me by David from Fort Worth, I was like, I can't switch it up on him. You know, maybe if I ever meet him in person, I'll switch it up. But you know,
no, you should totally F with him and change it up. Sue, and be like, first time caller, Sue from Fort Worth.
I know, right?
I'll call you in Damakong.
You can call me that. That's like 3 or 4 syllables though, man. It's a long time.
So does that make you? Does this make you a boy named Sue or?
I am a boy named Sue, man. Yeah, that's what I used to. I used to wait tables, and that's what I used to say. Oh, you know, I'm Sue. I'll be taking care of you today. And I'm like, yeah, I like a boy named Sue. But like some of the young bucks didn't know what I was talking about. They just looked at me weird. So I was like, all right, whatever. Yeah. It's a good song though. Classic song.
Classic. Hell yeah. So what do y'all got? All right, go ahead, Irene.
Oh, hey. Hi, how you guys doing?
What up?
Cheeto was another one that was chirping after when he went to the Bengals. But, you know, he was chirping when they had their 1 year where they, you know, made it to the Super Bowl. And I don't even know if he's playing in the league anymore. So they chirp when things are going well for them. And then they stop talking real quick.
I mean, honestly, to be fair, like, when presented with a question like that, I don't think they can't just be like, yeah, I mean, I love it here in Houston or I love it here in Washington, but Dallas was so much. But, you know, they can't really say that, you know what I'm saying? And they also like have to, and in my opinion, I don't know. I mean, I live really close, not too far from the facility, from the Star in Frisco. I go there a lot. It's really nice. I mean, I can't imagine they got a lot of negative things to say. So they kind of just like, you know, they're grasping at, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? They're just like, oh yeah, people are around sometimes. And that makes me upset. It's like, okay, sure, bro. Like if that's what you want to complain about, that's what you want to complain about. But the reality is, y'all stadium sucks. Our facility's better, so I know you miss it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
You know, the thing too is other teams, and they don't do the tours to the extent. I did some research on it because I made a post earlier and I was incorrect. I said other teams do these facility tours like Dallas does, and they do, but they don't do it like Dallas does it. Dallas does it intentionally so you run into players more often than not. So I was wrong on that fact. But there are chances that you can run into players at other team facilities that do these tours as well. But here's the thing. People aren't fucking lining up to go on a Browns tour of the Browns stadium. People aren't lining up to go on a Bengals tour of the Bengals stadium. Like, these are small market teams that nobody gives a fuck about except for like 3 people, okay? The Cowboys are obviously a global brand, the biggest brand in the world in the sports entertainment field. So, like, this is a revolving door where people are coming in and out all the time, I'm sure. So, of course, you're going to run into people if that's the way it's going to be.
And that includes people who hate the Cowboys and are there for the game against, their team.
But they still take in the store, though, right?
Chittibay is on IR.
Poor guy.
Oh, okay. Is he still with Cincinnati?
No, he signed I think a 1-year deal with Tennessee.
By the way, I love how he was always in position when he was on our team and never could turn his head. He goes out to the Bengals and all of a sudden he knows how to turn his neck and turn his head to look for the ball.
Wasn't that Chris Richard though?
Just
Wasn't
turn
like
your
thing?
damn head, man. Yeah, that was sort of his philosophy, which was kind of.
Yeah, we don't want turnovers. We just want you to get in the way.
It was more play the man and not the ball.
Make the quarterback make the throw type thing. Yeah.
Cheetos suck.
Damn.
I love it. Just blank.
Wait, you say Cheeto or Cheetos?
But I don't eat Cheetos. I don't really like for them either. But Cheetos suck.
Hey, my boy Davion just came in with the fact real quick. Cheetos suck.
Sucked major balls. Sucks.
Love it.
And I was so glad he was gone.
So what's the deal with the 49ers this week, y'all? How do we win this game? What do we got to do?
I told you last week, Aubrey late second field goal. That's gonna go down.
He's got to convict a man for life.
Just kidding.
When I saw that, it brought up my own memories when I was on jury duty and I had a dude that did all aggravated rape and all type of craziness. I was like, dude, this is
like, why wouldn't the judge just dismiss him? The judge is like, oh Jesus, as loud as hell. Sounds like it's going to be another Brandon Aubrey case there, apparently, in the background.
Yo, I got a question for y'all.
What's up?
So what's your guys' take on this whole running game situation? You guys, I mean, I've had some talks with some people, and my take is that they're just not committing to running the ball enough. I don't necessarily know that it's a Daddle issue. Not to change the subject or anything, but
Travis,
thought I'd bring it up.
I know you're passionate about this one.
You're in my language, David. I think they like, again. The point that I've made, and I'm not. It goes back to Dak for me because, like, am I on? There's 2 spectrums with Dak, and I'll bring this back around in a second here. But, like, people love him, or there's people that are like, he should have got paid. I think he still should have got paid. But I do think, even though, like, the hardest core pro fans of Dak, I think we're setting him up to fail when we say, like, yep, he's just got to be perfect. Like, it's the only way we can win is if he's perfect. And if you actually want this year to turn into something, to me, the only way, and I know Nick, I don't know if you listened to Nick's show, David, but when I said that to Nick, he kind of took it in and was like, well, you can't just run the ball. And I'm like, kind of like what you're saying. It's more like, it's easy to say figure it out, but with McCarthy, because he's never really been a true run the ball kind of guy. And to me, it's a logical question because they have 2 issues, right? Stopping the run and running the ball. Which one do you think we could fix and or would help us the most? I would argue it's finding a way to run the football. And if that means bringing in extra offensive linemen or 3 tight ends and doing 13 personnel, if you get a favorable look, and I know Nick's is in here and we've talked about it, like they've had issues running with in 12 personnel against light boxes, but I'm saying I'm doubling down and tripling down and saying, fine, if we can't do it with 12 personnel, let's go to 13 personnel. Like, I'm going to find a way to get, and it's less about, I guess, like being super good at it. It's more about can we also get this offensive line feeling good moving forward? Because it's the old adage of like every offensive lineman will tell you that what do they want to do the most? They want to run block. They want to go forward. Putting this offensive line, Tyler Guyton, Zach Martin's issues, Steele, he's been better than people think, but at times his issues, putting them in pass pro, as much as we want to say just Dak go do 2 minute, it's gonna break down eventually because like you can't put these guys in pass pro all the time in 2 minute and not expect the Bosa's, the Myles Garrett's, even though he really didn't kill us, but like the TJ Watts to eventually make plays. So for me, it's how do I best support Dak this year, and it's figuring out a way to get a run game going. And if it means going more 13 personnel so that we can finally get some play action in there, then I'm all for that. And I think Nix has been a proponent of it, saying give Dottle 15 carries a game. I want them to commit to your point, David, of like, let's run the ball 30 times a game. Let's control so we can actually control the game. Whereas some of these games are happening to us like they did last year where it gets out of hand because we take the ball, which Dylan hates. We throw, or we have one crappy run and we throw twice. They get the ball, they score. We throw, we get another 3 and out. Now we're down 14-3 or 14-0, whatever it is. It's literally what we were doing to teams last year, but now we're on the other end of it. So if my hope for this year is if they have any hope for it, you have got to establish a toughness up front. And I know Rob hates it too, but to me, if you want any hope on this year being different, you have to develop a run game and help support Dak. That's my opinion.
All right,
I mean, I'm all for that too. But I mean, at the end of the day, obviously, we gotta. Them the things are obvious is right in front of our face. Now, if they gonna do it, time will tell. Because Mark McCarthy is not a 13 heavy guy, or try to do that anyway. I think we can go to 2 tight end though. We can start doing that a lot more.
But you know what's funny?
That'd be
We
nice.
ran if you watched some of the runs last year that we had with some of Pollard's best runs, they were actually in 13 personnel. Now I know it's not the same line, but I'm just saying like let's get the good vibes. Let's get the Sue energy that he came in here with tonight. I'll say Sue energy, and get this offensive line moving forward so they don't have to sit there and pass block in 2 minutes, which we know is going to be a struggle. That's my point. And I know to your point, Davion, will they actually do it? I don't know because it's never been McCarthy's bag. He's been more of a pass to set up the run, but that's not really being a strength for you right now either.
I understand what you're saying, like just run until you're dead.
All
Like,
right, can I rant now? So here we go.
David.
Here's my take on this whole thing. So let's go back to the Pittsburgh game. Okay. Pittsburgh game. How many times you run the football? I think it was 27 times.
20-something?
27 times, I think. Daddle had 22 carries for almost 97 yards or something like that. Don't quote me on the exact numbers, but they were close, right? We rushed for over 100 yards in that game. We control part of the clock. We're a lot more physical football team. We keep our defense off the field, which makes our defense look pretty damn good, in my opinion. Pittsburgh's defense is, no pushover, by the way. Pretty good defense, pretty physical. The difference between that game and then the following week is what? I mean, if you look at it, Daddle gets the ball 5 times. Zeke gets it 8, which makes no sense to me because he is not half the running back right now that Daddle is. I know we got out of that game as far as, everybody's going to say, well, you can't just run the ball the whole time. Bullshit. If you're getting beat by 20, you better start running the ball because you're going to get beat by 40. So if you look at all the good football teams, the Niners never get blown out. Detroit probably doesn't get blown out very often. All the teams that run the ball well don't get blown out because they commit to it. They commit to running the football. Good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, here's a prime example. I don't know if you guys watched the Baltimore game on it was Monday night. Henry, first half, I think he had like 15 or 20 yards rushing. They just kept giving it to him, kept feeding him. Bam, breaks one for 81. Now he went from 15 to almost 90 yards in that amount of carries. The running game is based off of attempts, man. At one point in time, one of them's going to break. One of them's going to break for 10. One of them's going to break for 15. Yeah, you're going to get the ones and the twos, the ones.
How many
and the twos,
drives
the
are you going to
threes.
sacrifice?
But if you don't commit to it, you're putting a shit ton of strain on your defense, which our defense right now obviously is beat the hell up. So I don't even know why you'd want to come out and shotgun and run that bullshit, handoff out of shotgun that drives me the fuck crazy. Get under center, run some play action, take some time off the clock, give your defense some time to adjust, and make them better than what they are. Right now, we're not doing that, and that's just my opinion. I mean, if we commit to running the ball last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it is, we don't get beat by 40. We might get beat, but we ain't getting beat by 40. I'll tell you that right now. We might be in the situation like we were in the Baltimore game where we played like dog shit, and then in the end of the game, you're putting the ball in Dak's hands to give you an opportunity to come back, but we ain't getting beat by 40. Like Dak, okay, Jared Goff, prime example. Comes to Detroit, all of a sudden he looks like a fucking hero. You know why he looks like a hero? Because they run the ball 25, 30 times a game. That's why he looks like a hero. He don't throw the ball more than 30 times a game. Can you imagine Dak throwing the ball 25 to 30 times a game? How proficient that motherfucker would be? I don't care what anybody says. Dak deserves all the money because if Dallas didn't give it to him, somebody else is going to give it to him. So I rather have him there. And who the hell are you going to replace him with anyways? I don't even want to have that conversation. That's just bullshit conversation. But that's my take on the whole thing. I'm with Travis. If they don't fix the running game this year, we are fucked straight up.
Yeah, your margin of error is just so small if you don't fix that. If you don't give them support. And
Exactly.
and I've made the point too about Jared Goff. Like the Lions, to their credit, they understand, and this is not a slight on Dak because I think he's better than Goff, even though people are having the discussion now that he's not, but whatever, that's beside the point. But they know they paid him $53 million, but they also understand what he is and what he isn't. And they said the only way he's going to be successful here is if we keep him clean, check offensive line, and we run the football. And he can, and you see, like, and you couple that with a good scheme, it's not that hard to see why he's having 18 for 18 and 18 for 23 and 18 for 20, because the guys are, I mean, he's literally throwing a 7-on-7 on air. Guys are wide open. So
exactly. People were like, oh, why aren't we getting any separation? We ain't getting any separation because every time Dak's in shotgun, they know that they're throwing the fucking football. That's why we ain't getting any separation. We have no threat of a running game.
But you just said that you hated the shotgun run. So it's like you can't have both. You know what I mean? Like if he's gonna be in shotgun, he's gonna pass. But if he runs out of shotgun, you're not gonna like that either.
No.
I think you can do it. I think you can do it, but you can't be a steady diet of it, is what I would say.
For sure, bro.
Exactly.
I get it. And if your overall arching point is we're not going to do anything this season unless we fix the running game, I don't think there's anybody in here that would disagree. But I also think that like comparing this team to a team like the Lions is a little bit unfair. Yeah. I think the Lions overall, no doubt about it, are just better than you in nearly every aspect.
They run the ball so much.
Quarterback and special teams.
They run the ball so much because they're good at running the ball.
See, I don't know that I believe that.
I don't think David
I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, I mean, obviously this last
game.
You
think they have a better receiving core than us?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dylan.
I can hear you,
Dylan.
Okay, David can't hear you.
The other way around, you mean?
I think Lions have a better receiving core.
Detroit's got
I think Lions have a better offensive line. I think Lions have better running backs. I think Lions have a better defensive line. I think Lions have arguably better corners and secondary than we have had this season.
They don't have better.
I think Lions definitely than we have had this season.
They got better safeties. They don't have better corners.
I think secondary in general is better than our secondary that we've rolled out this season, because we've all complained about our safeties wanting to switch them out, and we've had injured corners all season. We're playing with like our fifth one right now, our fourth one. So yeah, Diggs can only carry so much. They definitely have better linebackers in my opinion, and they arguably have just as much of a factor in their defensive end as we would have had with Micah. You know what I mean?
But Sue, the only reason I'm bringing that up as an example is to highlight that they haven't supported Dak in the right way. Like, again, it's not so much. It's just that they built it knowing what Jared Goff, like they understand the assignment, and they were like, this is what Jared Goff is. This is what we need to do to support him, instead of saying like, hey, you know what? We're not going to take Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round because you're not supposed to do that. That's a no-no. You can't do that. So we're going to give him a lesser back, and then we're not going to go get David Montgomery in free agency. So you're going to deal with Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn and whatever else you have, and then give him. If he were here, all I'm saying is if he were here and he was not supported, they've seen what that's like. That's why the Rams ultimately traded him, because they were like, he's not the guy that can sit back there and get pummeled and not have a running game. Like, he absolutely needs it. And I'm not saying Dak isn't better than him, but we haven't. It's just to highlight we need to support Dak, and the best way to support Dak, to me, and is to give him a running game. And I don't think we can fix the run defense. I think you can, in my estimation, get the running game. And I'm willing to sacrifice, Dylan, to your point. Like, if it takes time, fine. It takes
Like,
time.
are you going to be cool with
willing.
like 3 and out, 3 and out, 3
Yep.
and out, 3 and out?
Yep.
I can't do that. I understand why you
Hey,
could do that.
We're
Let me
doing it
say
now.
that.
We're doing it now. Throwing.
Can I give?
Not really. I mean, we moved the ball last
Hey,
week in the
Sue, can I
beginning
give
of
you
the
a
game.
different perspective on that?
Hey,
Which
can
you're not
someone tell
wrong.
David to
I'm not
rejoin? He
arguing
can't hear me.
some of the facts
Hey,
that you've made, because
hey,
obviously that's
David,
kind of proven. That's why
David,
they're 5
can you drop and rejoin? Because I don't think you can hear Dylan.
The host.
Yep.
Yeah,
Drop
Yeah,
and
Dave-
rejoin,
I can't hear
and
him.
I'll give you the speaker back.
appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna bang your head up against the wall, and I get the theory that like you just got to keep doing it until it works. But like, I physically, just personally, I can't sit there and just watch. I mean, I complain about these first down runs all the time. I can't sit there and just watch them bang their head up against the wall, because they're not the Lions, they're not the Ravens. Like, those teams are already good. They're inherently good. They were designed to be good at running the ball. This team was not designed that way, and this team isn't good at it at this point. So like, if they're gonna sacrifice whole ass games trying to run the ball, I can't get on board with that. I understand the theory and the point. I just can't get on board with it.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
the next,
can it be like a happy medium though? It's on. I mean,
Yeah,
I see what
yeah.
Travis and David are talking about, but at the end of the day, it can be a happy medium in between. I think we can run some 13. We can do some things. You just got to be more creative in the run game. I mean,
Facts.
did y'all watch Box's breakdown with Broadus, and it showed that we had people just doing goofy shit as far as blocking. So it's like the
Yeah,
play was dead before we even get going. So
they
I'm
need
like,
to run the ball better, and they need
Out
to stay
of under
committed to
center.
running the ball, right? So they got to run the ball better, stay committed to running the ball, and that's how you can run the ball better eventually. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to sacrifice whole games like to try to prove a point that like you guys better figure out how to run the ball or else we're fucked. Like, I'll throw the ball if I have to, and I'll throw it 40 times a game if that's the best chance of winning. It just is what it is. I don't think this team is built to be good at running the ball this year, unfortunately, with the way it's set up.
yeah, and
But
that's
we're
why
not.
I
We're
said,
failing at
go ahead, Irene.
passing too. I mean,
Well, I
that's
mean,
the
it's
problem
pick your
is that-
poison in the wrong way, right? Like, how do we want to die?
It
I
is.
guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's dying. But that's dying slower, to their point. That's what I mean. Like, and if you develop that not David, to Sue's point, like he's brought up in the past about the offensive line gelling, it's more about the offensive line to me too. Like, get them moving forward. And I know I'm not trying to say sacrifice it for like the whole game, but it's the way you're doing it, right? It's under center, not out of shotgun all the time. Bigger personnel
100%.
packages, especially if they're going to sit in too high. And I know we've had issues with 12 personnel against light boxes, but damn, that part, I'm saying, damn that. Like, figure it out. Like, yes, throw on first down, totally cool. But be committed to running it. Be committed to running it out of the center and not so much the shotgun all the time.
So when I hear stay committed, what I take away from that is, like, in my head, commitment means don't, first off, give Dowdle the ball, not Zeke. Keep Zeke out of the goddamn game. I don't care if it's goal line. I don't care what it is. I don't want to see Zeke in the game at all whatsoever. He's worthless at this point. Put Lipke in at the goal line if you have to. I don't want to see Zeke. It just is what it is. I don't even know why he's on the team. But keep consistency with Dowdle. Get him involved in the game and keep him involved. I don't want to see 5 carries and a half. I want to see 10 to 12 carries at least and a half. And that's assuming that you're getting positive plays. If you're running the ball on first down and you're getting in 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11 consistently, you got to figure something else out. But at least, figure out how to be more creative and better with the correct back, I guess, in the game.
no, I agree with that. I mean, my whole thing is when we gonna activate Dalvin Cook and get him a crack at this?
I would have done a couple weeks ago that over Zeke. I would have
Because
bet
I'm
you.
like, at this point, like I'm like you, Dylan. Zeke can kick rocks on a lot here. It's really no
Don't tell
point.
his
Every
mom
time he
that.
comes in, shit. Hey, is she watching what we watching? 'Cause I'm
Who's
like,
getting
man,
that 10
what
grand,
the
by the
fuck?
way? Who's getting that 10 grand that his mom or his dad put up?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, that was his dad.
That's his dad. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's the
I'd
easiest 10 grand
I'd
ever.
still use him at the goal line, Dylan. or in short yard. I still would do
I
with
would
him
just
and
we got
Lipke
we got
personally, but
Lipke. Like I'll just put Lipke in
but
single
I'm saying
back and
I
just
would
have
put him and Lipke back there.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we move too far away from it, I do want to say, Travis and David, my argument was never that we shouldn't run the ball more or that we aren't going to be successful if we aren't more effective in running the ball. Like I 100% agree with that. Where I disagree, and I think where Dylan disagrees, because I think he agrees with that as well. I think where we disagree, excuse me, is when you mention like, if we're losing by 20 and we don't keep running the ball, we're going to lose by 40. And I'd rather lose by 20 than 40. Like that just goes to like differences in mentality. Like for me, if we're losing by 20, like I don't care if we lose by 40. I'd rather throw the ball and try to win the game somehow versus keep running into a brick wall and we're just not getting any better. We just look bad. It's just ugly. I'm like, for me, I would be more upset. Then I think a lot of you would be too, because y'all would be calling it, what is this Kellen Moore offense? What is this Jason Garrett offense? What are we doing? There's no creativity. We're just running the ball. We're down by 20. Why are we doing it? Like, there's going to be a whole new like level of like complaints that people are going to have. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, if we're already down, like, I don't care. Like, run the ball, sure. Don't just completely abandon it and become one-dimensional. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be like, we're losing anyway, so now let's use this as practice time for our offensive line. That don't make no sense to me. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, and I think, did you guys talk about Troy's comments at all in the beginning?
No, not yet.
Okay, because I think they're related too. Because if you're, I know it was about route running, but the receivers in general seem to be a problem. If you can't use your receivers as with any bit of blocking in the run game, how are you supposed to get anything going? Because they lack creativity, right? Like I feel like a lot of times they just run up the middle, and then do their reverse, right? It's like always kind of the same thing. So I don't. You have to have some buy-in from them so that you can do a variety of things, because nothing is working very well. And I don't know, something's got to change. But as far as Dalvin Cook goes, I was having dinner with someone last night who's a Cowboys fan, and she was asking me about Dalvin Cook. And like, what have we done? And I'm like, nobody's taken him off the practice squad either, so we're not alone. I would like them to try it, but I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, that's the savior that's coming, right?
Yeah,
So I don't
100%.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, to be clear, again, to go even further, like if we don't come out in this 49ers game and we don't like feed Rico Dowdle and we don't see any sort of creativity in the run, like obviously I'm gonna be upset. You just came off of a bye week. Like this should have been the time to make your little adjustments, make your tweaks, talk to your offensive line, have a come to Jesus moment, do something. You know what I mean? Because I 100% agree. If we don't, establish some sort of running game going forward, then I mean, Dak, as much as you love him or hate him, he's not going to just carry this team all the way throughout the playoffs. I genuinely don't think that. I don't think a lot of people do think that. So it's like you got to figure that run game out for sure, because honestly, every time the Dallas has had like a very successful team, in my opinion, they've had a very successful run game. And if you think
rookie Dak.
Yeah, or if you think 14, 16, 18, I mean, you had a great running game, you had a great offensive line. Unfortunately, we don't have those tools right now. So to try to, complete the same task without the same tools is of course going to be very hard, but like that's where, we start arguing about the coaching staff and how their creativity and how they're going to get things going. So,
what's
it is what it is, man.
What's wild right now too is the paradigm in the NFL has shifted. All these defenses have adapted to be smaller to play against these passing attacks, right? Now you're seeing teams with these big ass bruising running backs be successful, and Dallas is missing out. They could have had Braylon Allen if it wasn't for Trey Lance, but Dallas is missing out right now on the opportunity to go get a badass running back, a big boy who's not like 85 years old in running back years, and go bruise up this defense. I hope this next draft or free agency period they pick somebody up that can do that, because these defenses are much smaller now than they used to be.
I guess, Dylan, I guess what I would say, and I know what you guys are saying too, but this is what I would do if I was the coach. I guess this is my point to the commitment thing. I'm just saying this offensive line is struggling going backward. I want to get them try to go forward a little bit, get some confidence rolling. I would go to this offensive line if I'm Mike McCarthy and tell them, look, we're going to come out this game. Maybe we come out in 13, but we're going to get going forward, so you guys aren't always playing on your heels. And not only are we going to just do it this game, but I'm saying like commit to over the next 4 games of like let's stay with it and not go away from it. Because you're right. Now, I might be in the minority, Sue, of someone that might be like, because I would understand the point behind it, obviously. But if it may not hit right away, but again, to your point that you've made all season is it's developing that, right? So like it may not hit now, but would a running game that's sort of starting to click, I don't know, kind of late in the year, heading into like some kind of playoff thing, would that be beneficial? Or are we just going to go, we tried it 6 times out of shotgun, it didn't work, so we're going to throw it 50 times? Like,
i.e. Green Bay Packers last year, 3-7, start
like
rolling,
that to
get
me would
things
be nuts.
figured out.
Yeah, and
Hey,
go ahead, David. Go ahead.
hey, Sue. No, I wanted to just real quick touch on that. I think you misunderstood what I was saying about in regards to just running the ball when you're down by 40. I didn't mean that just as like a practice tool. I mean, what I mean by that is it helps you stay in the game because I know I'm pretty sure a majority of us in here know that Dak with 5 minutes left in the game and you're down by 17 and you got 3 timeouts left, I feel pretty confident that there's still an opportunity for Dallas to win that game, or at least come back in that game. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, of course, I don't think it's a good idea to freaking be up by 40 and you're just running just to run. I think, honestly, I think it just helps them stay in games to where come fourth quarter and they're down by 14, they still haven't. I mean, i.e., the Baltimore game's a prime example of that. I mean, they really shouldn't even have been in that game until the end. And, they came back and almost won that game. And they had no business winning that game. I mean, none whatsoever. I think we'd all agree on that. But that was my point. And what I kind of wanted to touch on too, just so you guys kind of understand what I was saying is, I think I'm kind of with Travis and Dylan. You're not wrong either. I'm a firm believer in old school football. I think physically you have to beat up on opponents and wear them down slowly, like throughout the game. Because fourth quarter is where you see predominant running backs dominate, and it's because these teams are committed to running the ball and they're beating down and beating down. And you ask any defense. I mean, I've coached football, and not at huge high levels, but high school football, and I know for sure if we have a team that's running down our throat come fourth quarter, my defensive guys are done. They're done. They're tired of chasing people. So it's just a bigger impact. I think what I was saying about like the teams like Detroit and these teams that are committed, I think Dallas could be that much better because it takes so much pressure off of Dak and puts a lot more pressure on defenses. And it to Irene's point in not creating separation with receivers, I agree. We're not creating separation. That's probably a majority. They're a combination of things. There could be scheme, could be a lot of things, but I think a lot of it is literally teams just don't respect our run because we don't commit to it. So I mean, a play action to a linebacker on this defense on an offense on Dallas right now is like, yeah, right. They may run the ball, but if they don't, who gives a shit? So it's basically my point is that there's no threat to even attempting to running the football, which makes it a lot easier for them to play defense, which then makes it so much tougher for Dallas to do anything when it comes to throwing the football. That's my point. I wasn't trying to say like, yeah, you're down by 40, just keep running the ball. I meant like commit to it because all it takes is for you to break one, and the next thing you know, here we go. Now we're back in the flow. Again, why were we able to run the ball in Pittsburgh, but we didn't even attempt to run the ball in Detroit? That part to me is mind-boggling to me.
Well, that goes back to one of Travis's points a few weeks ago, which is you get a player on a roll or they have a good game and then you go away from him the next week. So like Turpin had a few catches and then next week nothing. Um, the same thing happened to Rico. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. Like, why would you not go with what's working? You can tweak things. I get that. Like, don't always do the exact same thing, but you just don't go to somebody anymore. I don't get that.
Right?
Preach.
You give Zeke the ball more times than you gave Daddle in a Detroit game. I don't care if you lost by 40. Like that makes absolutely. I mean, I was a proponent of McCarthy. I don't think you win 12 games in 3 consecutive seasons without being somewhat good. But I'm not going to lie. This year has been completely disappointing, and I don't know what it is. And you know what? I'm going to give them till after the bye because last year after the bye, they definitely were better. But I still don't think they were. They didn't. They're still there was still a lot more there to be desired, even last year, which is, to my point, when you get in the playoffs and you are just sitting back and throwing the ball 30 or 50 times a game, it's going to be tough to win, man. It's going to be tough to win. I mean, Green Bay last year couldn't, to Travis's point, couldn't do anything at the beginning of the season. They found a running game midway through, and then they just started punking people, and they came in hot. And that's because that's what they did. They basically just punked us. They did exactly what the Niners did the 2 years before. They just punked us because they just came in there and just straight up punched us in the face, didn't give a shit, committed to the run, and just blew us off the ball. And here we are throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game. And I'm not saying Dak can't do it. I'm just saying that I would love to see him do it 25 to 30 times and then running it 25 to 30 times. That's all.
I feel like in order to commit to the run in whatever situation it might be, it's just going to depend on the flow of the game. You have to have a semblance of success when running the ball. Otherwise, you're just wasting downs. And I understand that, like, if it's, it's the third quarter, you're at 2 yards a carry, like you gotta figure something else out at that point. But you can commit to the ground game even in that scenario if your defense is playing well and the other team doesn't have 25, 30 points on you at that point. So, like, either the defense has to play well and allow this team to continue to run the ball and develop that part of the offense, or the ground game has to work consistently enough to commit to it, because you can't just keep running 2 yards a carry, 2 yards a carry, 2 yards a carry.
But is Rico averaging 4.2 a carry?
Yeah, he sure is, which is why it's stupid to take him out and put Zeke in.
So again, I think we're talking about semantics. It's not that we're saying run him 60 times a game, but it goes back to Irene's point that I made earlier about they're the only consistent thing about McCarthy this year, and it's happened way too many times, and I never will figure it out, is every time we get a player having positivity or building on something, we don't build on it. We just go, all right, you had a good week. We're going to stay away from you next week. Why?
But I mean, y'all missing. I don't think no one really said this, and Jerry told y'all on his interview what reason why we did what we did in Detroit. He said the reason why they did it is because they figured Detroit back end was terrible, so they wanted to attack it. Now it backfired, of course, but that's what they were trying to do, and that's what they attempted to do. So at the end of the day, I think all this is good, but me and Dylan both agree that Rico's vision is terrible. So, but he's the best we got, so you might well run him out there and see what you got.
It's been better, Davion, but he is averaging 4.2 a carry. But then
he's clearly the best back you have, so you need to put him in the game and keep him in the game and not feature anybody else. This is live and die by Rico at this point because he showed out the most of anybody, and he played well in Pittsburgh. I'd like to have seen that continue into the next game, but for whatever reason, they didn't do it. It is what it is. But, like, I guess, what I'm saying is I'm thinking specific examples in my head, like the Pittsburgh game. For whatever reason, whatever running back was in the game, at this point it was Zeke. But, I mean, Zeke was averaging like 2 yards a carry. Like, you can't commit to that. If they go into a game and Rico averages 2 yards a carry, you can't commit to that. If he's closer to his season average of 4 yards a carry, dude, run the ball until you're blue in the face at that point. If that's what he's picking up, 4 yards a carry is great. I'll take that all day. So if that's the scenario, keep feeding him the ball. I guess my point is that if he's not getting that and it's halfway through the third quarter, you're 21 points behind and you got to catch up, you can still run the ball some here and there, but if it's not successful, you're just chewing up clock and wasting time at that point.
Hey,
But
Dylan,
I agree with the overall statement, though.
Hey, Dylan, just real quick, let me give you like a scenario. I think they kind of go hand in hand. So you mentioned that the reason why you don't want to do that, because if you so basically what you're saying is if you're running the ball for 1 yard, 2 yards a clip, right? The only time you want to do that is if your defense is kind of keeping you in the game, correct? Isn't that what you mean?
Right, and giving you a chance to develop the ground game and get it flowing, working. Sure.
So do you think that the two don't go hand in hand, where if you're committing to the run, you're killing clock off, you're killing time off the clock?
Not if you're going 3 and out. Or having very
but
short
listen,
drives.
but there's probably a reason why your defense is holding it's in a closer, tighter game, because you're killing more time off the clock. You're giving your defense time to make more adjustments defensively. You're not going 3 and out on 3 straight passes. So you're giving, because football is based off of adjustments, defensive adjustments, offensive adjustments. When you're going 3 and out and you got a minute and a half to make an adjustment, there is no adjustment. Like you got to at least give you 2, 3, 4 minutes to be able to make some type of defense adjustments. The coaches get together, they say, hey, we got to adjust to this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And those are, I mean, it's happening fast. So I think personally, I guess we'll agree to disagree. I think that even though you're not running at 3 or 4 yards a clip, I think the 1 or 2s are still beneficial, even because you're still giving your defense time to rest, time to adjust, and then at some point in time, you're going to break one. It's just a matter of time. Again, I go back to the Baltimore game on Monday night. Henry was getting stuff. Bam. Outside sweep, 81 yards. Boom. Now all of a sudden he's rushed for 120 yards on 15 carries.
Yeah, I just don't think that's a
that's
fair
just my take on
comparison
it.
because Henry
Yeah,
can
but
bust out at any point in time. I don't think we have a back that can bust out at any point in time. I think
not
that
only
I think we'll be lucky to see. I mean, we're
but
what
we
week
have
7 and we got what? How many 15-yard gains do we have?
Like-
0.
Yeah, but guys, we haven't even given him an opportunity to bust one, is my point. Pollard was a better running back than Zeke was. They're doing the same shit with Dowdle that they did with Zeke when
Oh, tell me
Pollard was
about
there.
it. For
Pollard
years.
was there. He was better than Zeke, and they were giving the ball to Zeke when they should have been giving the ball to Pollard. Now we got Dowdle there, and they're giving the ball to Zeke when they should be giving the ball to Rico. I'm not saying Rico's Derrick Henry. Don't get me wrong.
I know you're
That's
not.
not what I'm
I
saying.
know.
What I'm saying is at least give the guy an opportunity to at least show that he is not the guy. Because in the Pittsburgh game, you gave him the ball 22 times, you rushed for 100 yards, caught a pass, he had a total 127 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's a pretty good freaking game, dude. I mean, I'm not saying it's
So I think
Derrick
this is
Henry
where we
game.
can settle, right? I think we both want Rico Dowdle in the game, check mark. I think we both want to see him get more carries, check mark. And I think we both want to see the ground game be successful. I think our commitment to that success is where we differ, and I think that's probably where it's just going to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I agree.
No, good talk. I'll let you guys
Yeah.
go, man. I just wanted, there's just something that's been
For
freaking
sure.
eating me up, man.
Oh, you're
for
good,
sure.
bro.
But I
It was a
appreciate
great topic.
the time.
Yeah, great topic, bro, for sure. I
Thank
don't
you,
know if
guys.
you're leaving or not, if you're staying in here, but I do want to
Thanks,
say it is a little different though, like when you use the example or when he uses the example of like Derrick Henry and how we were stuffing him, and then he, gets that 80, whatever. But it's like
Well, we could have Derrick Henry too, by the way.
well, yeah, I don't want to
Oh,
get into
God.
that, but it
No.
all comes down. It all
Don't
comes
start.
down
Don't
to
you start. Don't you start with that shit. Don't you start with that shit. I'm trying not to be triggered tonight. Don't you start.
I'm just saying.
I'm over this shit.
I'm blaming Sue because Sue, you must live right by him. Come on, man, recruit.
No, it all comes down to like game plan though, too, right? It's like, yeah, Derrick Henry wasn't popping anything. It's because our number one focus that game was to stop the running game. Like we were selling out. No defense is going to come in here or face the Dallas Cowboys and it's like, we have to stop that running game. Like, no, bro, our running game is trash. Nobody's focused on that. They could be in base personnel, they could be in nickel, they could be in dime, and they're still stopping
They've
this
been in
running
base
game.
all season. That's why we can't throw the ball, because they sit there in base and we can't run it to get them out of base.
Dude, it does not matter. It doesn't matter how many times we try to run against these teams. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we want to continue to run. That way defenses fear the run and have to respect the run. They already don't respect it. And on top of not respecting it, they're stopping it. So it's like we have to get creative. It's one of those, do you run the ball to open up the pass, you pass the ball to open up the run type of thing? Sure, that we could argue that all day. But at the same time, it's like right now, and especially when we're talking about like, oh, to keep, we don't want to go 3 and out in passing. It's like, yeah, if you're down, you don't want to go 3 and out in running either, because not only did you just go 3 and out, you also wasted a lot of time off the clock. So it all depends on like how you approach certain scenarios.
Well, let me say something too, real quick, Sue, because you just said this. You're passing to open up the run to open up the pass, whatever. Right now, they're in the situation where why do you pass to open up the run? What's your goal? You want to face light boxes. They've achieved that goal because they can't run the ball because they suck so bad at it. I don't think it has to do with passing to open up the run. I just don't think teams respect them on the ground. But you're in that situation that you want to be in, that you want to pass to open up the run to get light boxes. They have the light boxes. They just can't run. So we're where we want to be as far as what we should be able to do on the ground, but we just can't do it for whatever reason.
Exactly.
Or personnel.
Then we have if we're gonna say that, then, and I mean I'm already here because I said 7 games to begin with, so I don't know what you guys can say. Well, don't complain about it, but like to me, then we have zero hope because there's if we're just gonna say which I guess we are, is Dak, it's on you. Again, it's not a shot at Dak. I think it's
That's not what
wildly
we're
unfair,
saying.
and it's not gonna. You might as well just shut it down because you're not gonna do jack crap in the playoffs if you have no
I'm
running game.
saying we should be able to run the ball.
Playoffs.
We should be able to run the ball. We're facing what we want to face to run the ball, and we're not able to do it. I'm not saying stop trying to do it. You got to stay committed and keep doing it. I'm just saying to this point, they haven't been able to do it except for the Pittsburgh game.
Maybe Dak could turn back into a playmaker.
You
and
need some. Yeah, preach it, right? You need some of that too.
He doesn't. We don't even run the RPO, and if we do, he never keeps it. He refuses to make plays anymore, and that's why I'm just I really like Dak, and I really want him to pay him, but you're starting to see that he just wants to be a drop back quarterback, and that. If you take his legs out of the equation, he's just average, and he just needs to make plays. But I don't know. I don't know how the coach goes to him and says, I need you to run more. I need you to
look at the way the NFL is right now. Every single quarterback that's worth anything can move with his legs. I don't know of a single quarterback who is a really serious contender who isn't at least scrambling here and there, making some plays with his legs. It doesn't exist. The generals don't exist anymore. It's not a thing.
Dylan, where can you find that stat? Because if someone can find that, because I would be curious to know. Because if I'm no, I want to see. Because like I said, when they had run, I feel like they ran more 13 personnel when Pollard was here. I would be curious to see if someone has this stat or if there's a way to find it out, because I don't know of it. I'd be curious to see what their percentage is. Like I know they've run 12, but how much 13 have they? Like if it's like a higher than I would expect number, then fine, whatever, I guess then. But if it's like a low number, I'm just saying if you can't do it, if you can't do it in 12, okay, well let's go to 13, and then if we can't do it in 13. Okay, fine, but let's and like I said, it's more the semantics and the mechanics of how you're going about it. Not always out of shotgun. Let's get, like you said, get them under center so that even the rare times, right, where we can say they don't think we're going to run, but if you can, like David said, they don't respect us at all. Okay, if we can earn a little smidgen, tiny bit of respect when we go play action, maybe it opens up some windows for Dak for some easy throws, which we've all been asking for. That I'm just saying, and maybe that's hopium. Maybe I'm crazy, but that is my hope. Is if you can earn a little bit of respect, can you get a linebacker to suck up a touch here or there? Maybe that opens up a window. But and I'm saying like I'm going to the offensive line and saying, guys, the next 6 games we are going to be committed to running the football in a variety of ways and not all out of shotgun, because to me, that's going to be the only way that we have a chance going forward.
Travis, the only way that works is if you're not down by 20. I mean,
I know, but you can get down by 20 throwing too. We've seen that.
I know, but the defense has been awful. I mean, the games that we lost.
Right, but
you took the running game out by the second quarter. The running game is out. We don't run good to begin.
But if you develop a run game, Rob, you can control the game that way as well.
I understand. Me personally, I think they should spread them out and run. This team, when they really this team is not good enough, especially on the offensive line, to tell you we're running. No, they can't do that. If you're going to run the ball, I would rather.
That's why you go bigger personnel.
They're not big. Big is in the brain, and they don't have.
I'm saying bigger in terms of like 3 tight ends, like bigger.
I disagree. This team isn't physical enough. I don't care.
Yeah, but you got to develop that, Rob.
Well, you're not going to develop it this year with this coach. It ain't happening.
Okay, but I'm just saying if you want any kind of hope, it's hopium.
That's a mentality that you have to.
Right.
You can name right now what teams are good at running. Detroit, San Francisco.
And they develop it. They didn't just have it.
I understand, but they developed it over years. This head coach is gone. This whole.
But Rob, is this offensive line going to be here next year?
Two ain't.
Okay, but some of this offensive line is going to be here, right?
Yeah.
Let's get them going in the right direction, if nothing else.
I understand you have to run. I just don't like when they try to tell the other team we're going to run. They're not good enough. This ain't the '92 Cowboys. This offensive line needs a little help. Spread them out. Give them something where the defense doesn't know for sure. But if the defense knows for sure you're going to try to run at them, we're not good at it. This ain't Zeke in 2016, 2017.
Well, I think the confusing part about that is if you already acknowledge that the Cowboys aren't good at running the ball right now, they're just not. And Travis is saying, "Yeah, we're not good. I agree. So let's try something new and see if we could be better." And your immediate reaction is like, "No." Then like,
Well,
what's
my
the answer then?
is it's just they've proven that they put all their stock into throwing the football. That's if we want to say this team is good at anything, that's their strength. Dak Prescott and CD, that's the strength. Ferguson, but yes, I want them to run the ball. I just have seen it too many years where this team is not good when they think they're going to put two tight ends out there and really and you're not bullying San Francisco come Sunday night. That ain't happening.
But they're doing it out of shotgun a lot too, Robin. That's
I
why I'm saying like I
well,
want them to get more
I would maybe
downhill.
change that,
Yeah,
but
that's what
I
I'm
like
saying.
when
Just
they're
the
spread
mechanics of it.
out. I think they run the ball. They have a better chance of running the ball when they're spread. Spread
Nick,
the team out.
Nick,
Hey
you had your
guys,
hand up.
yeah, there you go. Thanks.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What
And
up,
I've
dude?
been listening. Great, yeah, man, great conversation all around. Look, it's this simple: the chicken, the egg, the pass, the run, whatever. Guys, we just don't have enough players. It's just what it is. You got Jalen Brooks out here, Ryan Flournoy. Tober's trying to figure it out still. Jake Ferguson's down on a knee. Look, you already benched a rookie left tackle. I know. Oh, it was injury. Yeah, you benched a rookie left tackle. Now he's coming back. You just don't have enough playmakers. And on the backside of that, on the defensive side, next man up works for a while. When you're down four defensive ends, there's nobody in the league that's going to go down four defensive ends and be okay. It's just not. We just don't have enough playmakers, y'all. It's just where we are right now. Sure, I know last year we had the bye week miracle and the offense took off and whatnot. Maybe once you get Cooks back and you get a couple of defensive players back, maybe some things can happen. But right now, and just the issues they have is you can't run against light box, whether in 12 personnel or otherwise. We can't run against six men. We can't. We can't do it. And then on the backside of that means, well, now it's tighter windows. Oh, and you heard it from the other team say, I always take away Lamb and know we're good. You don't have another guy. You just don't. So everybody knows, take away Lamb. We don't care about y'all running the rock, and you're not going to be able to do nothing. Doesn't really matter what Dak does at this point. I run, don't run, whatever the case may be. Zach Martin getting blown up for 2 sacks and playing his worst game against Detroit. There was nothing going to save him last week. And moving forward, you don't have enough. And look, run Rico more. I agree. Y'all have been out here. I say, look, Rico needs to get the 15 touches. That's the best guy here. It is what it is. And then you move on from that. But I mean, just at the end of the day, you just don't have guys. It's how they handle building this roster and constructing it this year. And then on top of that, you got hit with injuries, and here we are.
And the red zone offense is awful. Red zone defense is awful. And we're not turning the ball over like we did last year. We had a lot of short fields last year.
I mean, defense has had 2 games where they didn't really get a stop. It so maybe at the very end, in New Orleans and Detroit, they didn't get a stop at all till like the very end when it just didn't matter anymore.
Hey,
So I mean,
hey, Dylan. Just so you know, Sue, Kyle, Davion, and David.
Okay. So Nick, you're saying there's a chance though? No, I'm just kidding.
18% chance of us making the playoffs. Hey, we're 3-3, right? We're 3-3. Can you go win the next 2, get to 5-3, and then face and then square up against Philly? Can you figure it out? Look, they're hurt too, for what it's worth. If you're Zimmer, look, man, you can't let Mason beat you. That's the key. You can't let Mason beat you in that run game. If nothing else, if Brock Purdy throws for 700 yards, so be it. Who cares? Like, don't let Mason beat you because everything they want to do is off of the run game with the play action and stuff that they do, so on and so forth. And right, and that's what Green Bay did against us with Aaron Jones and got to the play action and what they were doing. You can't let Mason beat you with the runs to the outside, and you know they're coming. If they can man up a little bit and stop that, I think for me, the number one key is I think Kendricks has to play. I think if Kendricks isn't here to man the middle of this defense, I don't think the Cowboys are going to have opportunity to beat San Francisco, even though they're down the way they are right now.
Yeah,
No
I don't
doubt.
see them.
Yeah, I got this as a loss too. If I won't panic though. I mean, I'm down quite a bit. I won't hit my panic button until they lose to the Falcons though. That's part of my. I need them to win against the Falcons to get to that 10-win mark, and yeah, they lose that. It's Dunsky potatoes at that point. David, you're up next, I think. Sue.
Yeah, Sue, Kyle, Davion, and David.
If it's cool with you guys, because y'all are the host, I was gonna let Kyle go first because I don't think he's spoken once yet.
What up, Kyle?
What a guy.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing out there, bro? With the storm, everything good to go now?
We made out okay. Just a little tree fell in the back, but we're good. You good over there?
Sweet. Oh yeah, all good. It took about a week to
Hey,
get the flooding out, but it's good to go.
he said little tree, but look at those guns, bro. You know that thing was huge. It was just little to him.
Comparatively
I caught it
speaking.
in the act of falling down. No, but I just wanted to kind of expand on the running game conversation y'all are having. So I think just to kind of play the glass half full scenario, at least we kind of showed that we could run against a decent front on the road in Pittsburgh. I think Dowdle only had like 87 yards or something like that, but at least they showed that they could actually run against a top 10 front, I would say. I think the issue the Cowboys have at running back is that they don't trust Dowdle in pass blocking situations. So I think I think they made the mistake against Detroit with giving Zeke more carries, but I think you need to have Dowdle as the bona fide first and second down back. But they don't trust Dowdle in pass blocking situations. So that's why I think you're seeing Lipke and Zeke in passing situations and pass blocking situations. But the problem with that is those guys don't have any threat in the receiving game at running back, right? So Zeke is not a threat at receiver. You saw Rico catch the receiving touchdown against Pittsburgh, and I think that was in an empty set. So I think they need to find a back that could do all three downs, and they don't have that right now. So they're kind of trying to mix and match what each back does best on depending on the down and distance. I think they need to get a guy that could do all three downs.
Yeah, I agree. They had a chance. They didn't do it. We won't go down that road. But again, but you're right. They're trying to mix and match, and their mix and matching ain't working. I personally, I know it's important to pass pro. I get it. You got to have a back to pass pros. Give me a back that's a threat out of the backfield on some receiving routes, and I'll take that over pass pro every day. They want to send a blitzer, I'll send an extra guy out in the secondary, out in the field, and go catch a pass. Now you got 10 yards of free space because they sent a blitzer. I mean, there's counters to that without having to keep it back into pass pro, but I also understand there's times where you need to have a pass pro back too. It's just there's no way to fix that this season. I don't think Cook's much of a receiving threat out of the backfield either. So we're just gonna play this mix and match game, I guess, for the rest of the season.
And what's unbelievable is that, and then I'll let you guys pick up after that. But I was looking up some stats defensively, and actually Dallas at home, and this isn't no surprise, they are last in the league at yards per play given up on defense, but they are number one in the league on the road in yards per play. And obviously, we played a lot better teams at home this year. But if they're going to be any type of road warriors this year, and they can kind of keep up that momentum, I don't think San Fran is the same team we've seen over the past 3 years. So I think they can be had with all the injuries they've had. But I thought that was at least inspiring that we're giving up the least amount of yards per play on the road this year. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep that home road split in mind. We'll see if if it actually means something or if it's something to do with the teams they're facing. Sue was next, I think. No,
Yep.
You can go.
Yeah, man. The reason why Dallas is better on the road is because when they're here, there's a lot of distractions and people are like knocking on the glass while they're squatting and stuff.
God dang.
They get real nervous. No, just kidding. No, to touch on what Dylan said, you're talking about receivers or running backs catching out of the backfield. And I know you're done with Zeke, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Zeke was like the leading receiver.
He caught
Like,
one
as far as
pass for
catches or
15
something like
yards,
that.
yeah, on like a broken play.
No. I mean, with the
In New
Patriots
England.
last
New England.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like the
caught it
leading
pretty well.
receiver. He got a lot of balls out of the
Did he?
backfield.
Okay.
So it's like, but of course that comes down to McCarthy and how he utilizes him and blah, blah, blah. We don't want to touch on that. One thing that I wanted to talk about too is, because I think it was Nix who said it, like your left tackle got benched, your rookie left tackle got benched. And I remember in training camp, if I'm not mistaken, I thought it wasn't Chuma starting and everybody was all pissed off about it and stuff. And like, why is he starting? Get your rookie in there, get him some reps. It's like, maybe they knew from the jump that this dude wasn't ready. I mean, obviously this dude clearly came out. He's come out here. He's switching sides, which everybody knows that's hard, But the coaching staff must have known from the jump, like this dude's not ready. We got to make sure we start Chuma. Chuma gets hurt. He's forced into action, and we got what we were asking for. We wanted our rookie to play. He's a first rounder. We thought he was going to be a Tyler Smith, Tyron Smith, Frederick, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. He's just not that guy right now. So that's something that we're dealing with right now. So yeah.
Hey.
Davion, you had your hand up,
I'm
but
on my,
I don't know if you wanted to say something. But if
Cowboys
not, we'll
call.
go to David.
No, I'm good. I mean, basically at the end of the day,
No, I changed it to Wednesday this week since you're gonna be home
I
tomorrow.
mean, picking it back off what Sue just talking about, Guyton was a project. He was drafted in the 20s, guys. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna ride with the Rook and see what he
Let me know when
got.
you get there.
I mean, I know Tyler being out there was
Yeah,
nice to see, but I need him back on the inside because I run inside zones, the shit that Solari we're talking about. We do inside wide zone, ain't none of that shit working.
All right, love you.
And we can't get the inside zone working, ain't no wide zone working, and ain't nothing working. So at the end of the day, put Guyton out there, let him go. Dido, I bet Rico, our best runner. Put him out there, let him go. I don't think I was saying about Dalvin is here. You got him. You got him. He used to be a pretty good runner, and hell, we not getting enough consistency out of the behind Rico because we know Rico is one step on somebody's ankle from being back hurt or something. Knock on wood, but that's been his problem is he always gets hurt. So it'd be nice to have him if he can run, let him run, see what we got. But I think we just need to really have a good, healthy balance of coming out, being committed to trying to run. I see Rob talking about spread them out, but unless we're gonna turn the blocking scheme, then I'll spread them out really ain't really helping. I'm more
Well,
about
here's the
collapsing down.
thing, Davian, about that though, is that they can't block light boxes with what they got on the offensive line right now. I'd hate
Right.
to bring more guys into the box to have to deal with that on top of what they can't do already.
Yeah,
Right?
but
So I'm on.
you're not putting four threats out there. See, it's all about the threats. In the sense, basically, we go 4 wide. We got what?
Well, that's what
We
I'm
got
saying. I'm
Fergie out
agreeing with you.
there,
I'm agreeing with you. Spread them
Lamb,
out.
and that's
Spread them out
it,
and run.
really.
Yeah, I
That's
agree with you.
that's all
Spread them out and run.
people.
Don't stack the box even more than you're having problems with. Don't put more guys in
That's
the box. Spread
that's
it out and run.
that's
It's a
exactly.
balance. It's just you can do them both though. You don't have to just do one. Just kind of go back between the two. I think it's a happy medium in there
Yeah.
somewhere where you can kind of do both of them and still get what we're trying to achieve. Because all of us, I think, that said tonight, we want the run game to work. And if we don't get this run game to work, we fucked anyway.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's figure some out and see. It's basically coming back down to McCarthy, and that's why I'm like, okay, Jerry said you had bad play design. Troy called the shit out, and then you come back and say, "Well, Troy don't hold no weight." Troy won the 3 Super Bowls. What the fuck you telling me you don't hold no weight? He's a quarterback too. He watches film. He see the shit. If you ain't designing this shit up for people to get open, then it's pretty obvious. 'Cause that's the reason why we got fucking skull joy the last 3 home games. Like we wasn't even in the game by halftime, and that's
Mc-
just embarrassing. It's
McCarthy
just fucking embarrassing.
McCarthy couldn't say anything about Troy Aikman. What's he going to say? He'll lose the team if he says, "Yeah, I agree." I mean, he's stuck. He's dead man walking. I mean, and now you got the owner basically calling him out. I think this game is huge. If they come out and get blown out, this may be a Wade Phillips situation because I think they'll realize the season's over. Obviously, if they win, we got hope. But it's crazy how the preseason, the three guys that we looked at and who looked really good, Flournoy, Deuce, everybody been talking about Stevenson for the last 2 years, and they're not even on the field. It just goes to show how preseason is like fake football compared to real football.
Yeah, going back to the 49ers thing, I think there's more of a chance of a blowout this week than there's not, unfortunately. Even with the injuries they got over there in San Francisco, just I think it's a team that's had their number, and this is obviously a very down year for the Cowboys. They're like Nick said, kind of fucked on all fronts here from a personnel standpoint. I just don't see a lot of positives heading into this game, and it's got me a little bit nervous that this is going to be a miserable one.
Can I glass?
I would, but let me say this. The thing is, with San Francisco down right now, they're down to basically bare minimum for us anybody that can give us any threats.
We're down
The,
to
the, the lynch, what I'm saying, the linchpin is Kittle. If Kittle don't play, then we really we even across the board at the end of the day because I would go to a 6-1 front and just say, hey, Brock, if you beat us, hats off, but fuck it. We not letting this damn Jordan Mason run all over the field on us.
Is
And
Micah playing?
I'm
no,
gonna
I don't
guess
think so.
no.
I don't
They're
think
not
so.
going to say anything about that till game day. I'm pretty sure they're going to wait till the last minute before they announce that. I would imagine. If they're smart, they will at least.
Mike has said he's playing, but players are full of shit. So
Yeah.
My only
I
thing
mean,
is
if
Still a full
McCarthy
shit.
doesn't play. I don't see how.
McCarthy has any brains, he better not say anything about him playing until game time.
Well, he might not, but Jerry might.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty much, you got to worry about the Jones boys. You got to worry about Mike. Mike ain't gonna tell you shit. It's the Jones boys be letting the shit out.
I don't think.
Hey,
I don't see us getting blown out only because I don't see us winning because Dak struggles against that defense. Fred Warner just seems like he's got Dak's number, and they still got a good
But
defense.
Rob, we beat him like 4 years ago. It's not that. It's the
Yeah,
simple
but that
fact that
was.
they.
I
But I'm
mean,
saying it's like
that was
he
before. That was
beat the San
before
Francisco
Purdy,
team
though.
before.
Yeah, but that was before Purdy. This defense struggles with quarterbacks that are good with a running game because the play action destroys them. And
misdirection too.
Purdy is great at that. And I shouldn't even say Purdy, just the way Shanahan designs the plays. Uh, like I said, if let's say Debo don't play and obviously Ayuk is out, and let's say Kittle plays, Kittle and Jennings, and let's say Micah plays. If you still can't beat this team, it's it's over because I mean you're coming off a bye week.
what have you seen from this team? And I'm usually the glass half full guy, so I hate talking like this. This bothers me. We have nightmares about it. But what have you seen from this Cowboys team that makes you think that even with this 49ers team as busted up as they are, Cowboys are busted up really bad too. What have you seen that makes you think that they have a legitimate shot at this game?
well, let's say Bland is going to be back. Let's say he plays.
I don't think he's gonna.
I think he's going to play this game.
He had a setback.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced.
So, okay, so if Bland don't play and Micah don't play, then no, I don't think they beat them
DeMarcus Lawrence don't play.
Well,
Nealon
DeMarcus
don't
Lawrence
play.
to me doesn't do nothing for me because if you cannot get pressure on Purdy, he's gonna pick you apart. They'll just run schemes.
I don't
where
care. I don't care who the Niners have or don't have. That's why I said earlier this week. This is a mentality. Like it's not
Absolutely.
even. It's not even a It's not even who the hell. I don't care who the hell is wearing a Niners cap,
Yeah, but
Guardian cap, helmet. It's literally this team. Let's keep it. This team has their number. This team owns us. This team is in our heads, and they've been in our heads just like Green Bay got in our heads. It isn't even a. I don't care who they have. It's you just have to beat. That's why I say it could be a mental boost
I
for
mean
them.
talent matters.
It matters, but not with this team.
No, it still does. If we had Micah back, and
So you think we can't be beat by this team? That's what Dylan said, because I believe we
no,
can.
no, I said if Micah was back.
Wait, what did I say?
We don't know, and I thought Bland would maybe play. If those two were going to play, and let's say Debo was out, Ayuk's out.
Hello.
I thought we could have a shot. If Micah doesn't play, we don't have a shot.
Hello.
Hey, hang on one second there, Jesus. I think we had somebody else in front of you here. David, I think you had your hand up, right? You want to say something?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with Devon on this. The scheming for sure is an issue, 100%. And I on 150%, McCarthy's got to do a better job, especially of run scheming. I think this run scheme is pretty freaking bland, but that's one thing. But for this week for sure, I don't care what anybody says. I'm with you 100%. We have to sell out to stop the run, period, and make Purdy beat us. Especially if Debo don't play, Ayuk is not playing. Like you have to 150% stop the run, and you let Purdy try to throw for 350 plus and 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. That's the only way you win this game, in my opinion. I mean, you have to sell out to stop the run. If you don't stop the run in this game, we're probably going to be fucked like we've been in the last few games.
It's going to be a Green Bay Watson game where he had no touchdowns, and Ricky Purcell is going to have 3 touchdowns against us.
100%, 150%. If we don't sell out to stop
Ricky
the run.
Purcell's first touchdown of his career, his
Yeah,
second touchdown of his
exactly.
career, his third
We're,
touchdown of his career. Huh?
we're
That
gonna
happened
we're
with
gonna make
Christian
a
Watson.
hero out of somebody that was a zero. Dallas sometimes is good at doing, unfortunately. But
Do you all
yeah,
think that this game? So the Cowboys, I think they have a lingering leftover effect from the Green Bay game, just like all the fans do. You think
1000%.
you think a win against the Niners?
1000%.
You think a win against the Niners somewhat exercises that demon a little bit?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't care.
I
And I
think
don't care who's on their team because at the end of the day, they're gonna say, finally, we beat the stupid Niners.
I don't even
Let's
think it's
go.
just that. It puts you at 4-3.
Hey,
but
listen, guys.
but it's beating your boogeyman.
No, I know, but the most important thing is to get the 4-3.
I don't think so.
Because if you go to 3-4 and they lose to Atlanta,
I think the mentality. I mean, yes, getting the 4-3, they'll get it because the mentality. I think the mentality of this team needs a boost, Rob. That's what I'm saying, and I think this is the perfect team to beat.
No doubt about it.
Finally, we exercise the demons a little bit. Let's drop that crap now. That's out of our mental space. Let's go forward.
Hey guys, let's not forget that the getting wins in the NFL is not easy. There's a lot of parity in this league. Whether you're playing Carolina or you're playing anybody else, it's really, really hard to get wins in this league. So to me, any win is a good win. I know
I'll talk to you later, fellas.
I know that's like a, just a slogan everybody uses or whatever you want to call it. But
you're absolutely right. Get it a win at the end of the day. They add them up. They don't say you don't get extra points for beating whoever.
The only thing I will say this, and then I'll give the mic to somebody else, is here's the one thing that I figured out about me and my brother say this about this all the time when we're watching the Cowboy games. And when I say this, you guys are all going to probably laugh. But the only good thing that Dallas is really, really good at right now,
absolutely right, kicking.
Is being inconsistent. They're really good. They're really consistent at being inconsistent. That's exactly what they are. They're really good at being consistent at being inconsistent.
But not this year. I don't think they've been good the whole entire year.
I don't know. That Pittsburgh game was pretty impressive, in my opinion.
If Pittsburgh had a quarterback, we would have lost.
And the Cleveland game, obviously, Cleveland sucks right now. But that wasn't that bad. I don't think, dude. The two blowouts obviously are a big deal. But even the Baltimore game, you have to give them some type of credit for coming back in that game.
No, I don't give a team like that because I know they took their foot off the gas. They could have scored 60. This team, to me, we've seen in the past. They would lose the game, but you'd be like, you know what, they were in it, or no. This team has not looked right from day one. CD and Dak haven't looked. Dak has not looked sharp the whole year. And I know the offensive line is probably 90% of that. This team has not looked good the whole entire year. The Giants, even the Giants had a chance, and usually we destroy them. There's just I was worried about this, and it's no way to prove it. I'm just sorry when the coach and the coaching staff is not going to be back. It's different, and now you're starting to hear it. Oh, we don't practice really good. We've never heard that before.
Micah saying, when are we going to stop blaming players and start talking about the scheme?
Yeah,
not saying not particularly. Like I'm just saying it was said. That's all I'm saying.
Now you got the owner. Now you have the owner coming out and talking about the head coach. This team is just falling apart on the inside, and like the other caller said, they don't have a lot of talent. They have a couple of positions that they're really good at, and the rest are just average.
It's a reloading season.
Real quick, I see Rick in Massachusetts down there.
Nix has had his hand up. Nix, did you have is that a lingering hand?
Say, anybody that wants to come up and get a mic, anybody that wants to get a mic, just request and we'll get you up here.
Hey, you guys get up. I'm going to bounce. You guys give the mic to somebody else because I know there's a lot of people who want to talk. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys have a good one, man.
Hey, real quick, David, before you leave, are you still there?
Yeah, I am here.
Did you say, is this your first time joining? Are you part of the community?
No, yeah, it's my first time joining.
Did you join the community, the StoryLiners community?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm not the most tech savvy guy. That's why I talk
real
about
quick,
old school football, man.
Real quick, go on Twitter. Just go to your search bar, type in Cowboys StoryLiners, and that's our page for all the stuff that we do. So you can join our chats there.
If not, I'll send you a DM, brother, and I'll send you the link to the community. I'm not saying we're the coolest community or whatever. I think we are, but
nah, we are.
It's more of a fact that like you came in here, you brought some pretty good points. It was fun. It was a good time. So like we do these weekly. So if you'd like to jump back in, we'd like to have you, bro.
Oh, brother, I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. No, hey, you know what? Cowboy Nation forever. I mean, Hey, you know what's great about Cowboy fans is we all bitch and complain, but there's one thing we all want is to win another fucking Super Bowl. So I'm
What's
all
that?
good. I'm down to
Yeah,
listen
here
to
we
everything, man.
go.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
brother.
All right, brother. You
Have a
take
good
Okay,
care.
one.
guys, you guys have a good night, man. I'll just listen. Peace out.
Have a good one, David.
All right,
Prayers to
Travis,
everybody.
who's next, man? You got the reins here. I'm not keeping track.
I've got. Well, I think so. So real quick too, and I don't know. Sometimes Twitter's funny. Dylan would mention this too. Sometimes hands stay up, but really, like what I see still is Sue, Davion, Kyle, and David. But I know he's dropping. So again, if anybody else, Rick, if you want to get up here, I see Steve, Cardiac, anybody, Chameleonaire, if you guys want to come up, just request. And
Champ,
we'll
I
get
know
you up
you
here.
got your mic up. I don't see a hand though. You got something you want to talk about there, brother?
What's up, Champ? That's
All right.
a no from Champ.
That's a hell no, Lord Dilly. All right.
Hey.
Well, hey, there you are. What's up, dude?
Yeah, sorry, I started talking. I must accidentally press the mic off.
Yeah.
Hey, so real quick, I think if anybody was listening to me on Storyline the other day, Nick kind of misunderstood my question. And I know I just jumped on and I heard you guys kind of talking about it. Don't get me wrong, man. I don't care who's playing for the 49ers. They could dress up their wives, and if we beat them, we beat them, and I don't care.
Facts.
However, my question kind of insinuated was, if we do beat them, and they're nowhere near 100%, do we actually, let's say we meet them in the playoffs again, can we look at that win and go, hey, we killed the boogeyman back in November or October. We're good. We can beat these guys. Or is the team mentality, the players going, yeah, we beat them, but it wasn't these guys that we're about to play today. These guys have kind of owned us. Are we going to be back to that mentality again?
We're gonna go
That's
Rocky
kind
on
of
him,
what I
Champ.
was getting at.
Depends who plays for us. If we beat
Nope.
them without a lot of our guys missing,
We're gonna
then
go
yes.
Rocky on him, Champ.
Then
You
you
see,
could go
he's
into
not a
that
I'm good
game
with
machine.
saying,
He's a man.
now if Micah and whoever plays and we beat them, then maybe I could see Micah saying, hey, but don't get your big heads, these guys weren't there. But Ayuk ain't going to be there for another year. So
I think it'll give them a mental boost if they had to play him again. I'll say it like that.
I'll tell you who needs this game, Dak, because he sucks against San Fran.
They all do.
No. But the quarterback, he has sucked, and he needs to have a good game. And yeah, I think the guy that would get the biggest boost if we win, and let's say somehow we meet him in the playoffs, would be him. Would be that guy to say, I know this defense. I could do this.
I agree with that, but I also think Terrence Steele would be one too. He's going to have to stand up against Bosa and be able to block him. So if we were to meet them again in the playoffs, he could say, "Hey, I can handle this guy. I did it before."
I don't know. There's something going on with Steele. He hasn't been the same player ever since.
No, he's struggling, man, and I hate it. I'm a Texas Tech boy. I'm a Texas Tech fan, so I cheer for him. But man, he is struggling bad.
Hurting him too is you can't protect him because you have to protect
No,
Guyton.
Guyton on the other side, right?
That's why this offensive line is really struggling.
You know why? You know why
and then
it's
you
good.
got
It's good
average
to do
Zach Martin.
play action out of 13 personnel, Rob, because you got more guys on the field that can help that too. Not all the time. I'm just saying.
Get rid of that
situationally.
13 personnel.
No, sir. I'm not giving up on that
Who
at
are you
all.
throwing the ball to in 13 personnel? He's
Yeah.
gonna run
Nobody.
two routes.
What's that guy's name? Brevin Spanford.
Yeah,
or
but
whatever
okay.
that-
Let me bring us back to what Nix was saying, and this is why I'm taking the Dylan and call it hopium if you want, but I'm taking the Dylan approach to this because Nix mentioned it. The Lions said it, right? So you guys want to throw. Yet the Lions said what? We just shut down CD. You guys got nobody else. Boom, done. It's a wrap.
No,
So,
I'm not.
No, that's what they're saying. So I'm saying if the league knows that, then the only way you change and you get a foothold and you do something is if you stop running out of play action, you start getting downhill under center, you maybe start getting some play action involved. And again, I know you hate it, Rob, but if you at least do some 13 personnel, you've got extra tight ends to be able to help those. Like you can max protect, you can get a tight end, a back, and CD out in a route. I'm just saying, who you can throw to. Play action works pretty well for. I know Dylan's going to hate this, but play action works well for Goff because they're getting someone to respect them a little bit. I know people don't
They
respect
got the
us,
best
but
running
you
game
got to
in the
earn some respect. And guess what? We're the worst running game right now in the league,
No,
right? We only have room to go up. You're not gonna. Are we gonna trade for anybody personnel wise?
no.
No. So what's gonna change from defense is to say you guys got CD and nothing else. We're not gonna respect that. The only hope we have, I'll keep saying it, is if McCarthy gets his foot out of his ass, starts changing up the mechanics of how they're running the football,
Won't do
and
it.
actually, I know. Well, then we're back to we're just screwed because
We are screwed.
asking Dak to be perfect is
You
asinine.
got a quarterback that will not run anymore, so that threat is gone. You got
Reincorporate that. That's what I'm
we
saying.
get, I don't know
Reincorporate
if you
that as well.
can. I don't know how you make a $60 million
Well, we have to.
back run.
Period.
I don't know how you do it. It's not in his DNA anymore. Like, at least I give the Ravens credit. They still tell Lamar Jackson, you're better at running than throwing, and Lamar recognized that, and that's why that's why he's so dangerous. But Dak, ever since he broke his leg, he ain't gonna run, and he's ran in
He
less
ran
and
well
less.
last year.
He ran enough last year, yes. This year, it's
Okay,
totally
get that shit going.
I don't know how you can. I don't know how. That's it. Like I says, that's a mentality thing. McCarthy. Whatever he does, he's going to do. He's going to stick to whatever he drew up 25 years ago. I mean, that's what he's going
And
down
let me
with.
be clear, Dylan. I'm not saying we need to pass to set up the run. I agree with you there. I don't want to run on first down. I'd rather pass on first down. I'm just saying I think the only chance we have to help these other guys that everyone says you guys got CD and bullshit else. The only way is if you can get someone to. Can we go from 31st or 32nd in the league to friggin' 20th by the end of
Careful,
the year?
man. You run it bad enough, you might end up at the 33rd spot somehow. So
I'm
careful.
just saying.
No.
Like, it's either that, or we're just then we can all just sit here and say we're 1,000% screwed. And I know I feel crazy right now, like I'm taking crazy pills because I'm the guy that said they're going to win 7 games. But I'm trying to get you guys to get some hope going of like if there's a chance going forward.
They're already in what you want when you're passing to run. You're already facing light boxes. And listen, if they want to line up in 13 personnel and try to run that way, man, I don't give a damn. Do it. I really don't care because what you're doing isn't working. So have at it, brother. I just have a feeling that you're going to make life even more difficult than it's been because you're now bringing even more guys into the box and relying on more guys to have to do their job when the guys that are already there can't do their job against the light boxes. So I'm hesitant to do that, but you know what? Nothing else has worked, so I don't really give a damn. But if you watch the film, I'll say this, and not so much this last week, but the prior weeks in the season, specifically weeks 1 through 3, the offensive line was making some holes. This was Dowdle's piss poor vision. He was cutting the wrong way. He was running the ball incorrectly. And so the offensive line sometimes was doing its job, but the running backs weren't rewarding them. And so now against Pittsburgh, you saw the running back reward the offensive line for doing a good job, and maybe that can just continue. If they use Dowdle. If they use Zeke, we're fucked. If they keep Dowdle in the game, we'll see.
And if they change the mechanics of it too, right? And if that means using Turpin too. I'm not saying just do boring ass end arounds, but stretch these teams going east and west and downhill. But when you're going to go downhill, let's not go downhill out of shotgun all the fucking time.
Or how about get some guys in some routes, man, out of the backfield? Like, what are we doing here? We saw against Pittsburgh that was great. You had Lipke, you had Dowdle, all these guys.
I can't even remember the last time Dak had a good play action pass.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to honor it? Nobody's going to honor it.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. But you're not going to just get it by just saying like, hey, hey guys, we're doing play action. You got to respect it. You got to earn that right.
But I totally agree with Dylan. My feeling is if you load up like you're going to run.
I'm not saying a steady diet.
They're going to load up
occasionally here and there. Use it. I'm saying if you can't do it in 12, use it spotty and go in 13.
If you want to go big on 3rd and 1, okay. But no, I'd rather them spread it out. Their best players are on the outside.
But we say this offensive line struggles in pass blocking, and then we want to do 2 minutes, and
guys,
they can't hold up.
Here's where we're at. We just suck, man. We can't do shit.
I get it, but in one respect, the personnel. That's what I'm saying. The personnel is not going to change. So like the only hope you have is like it. Literally, Dylan. I use Dylan. It can't get any worse in the running game. You can't. I know you said you made the joke about 33rd, but you can't go to 30. You only going to be 32nd. It can. Can we get a little bit of respect?
This team's been so bad, brother. I don't know about that, but they might go 33rd. We'll see.
The only hope you have is Dak starts to play like he did last year, and CeeDee Lamb plays like he did last year.
But even that's not gonna. That's not gonna take you anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, at this rate, we're not making the playoffs. So I mean,
I
this
know, but that's why I'm
that
saying.
is
I
the
guess that's the difference.
only
Is I'm coming
chance.
from if we want to have anything happen, the only way it's going to happen is if you
Let,
somehow get the line to David's point. No, I gotta say David, but to Sue's point of like, can we get the line gelling? And again, offensive. I'm going to keep saying it. Offensive lines want to move forward. The more you get these guys moving forward, the more you can lean on people. And yes, it might be boring as crap in the first half or whatever, but can you get some runs to pop in the second half? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just again. Is it just hopium? Maybe. Maybe I'm
well,
crazy.
of
Maybe it's
course,
hopium. But
it,
I'm just saying that what they're
it is.
doing in
But
running
the
game
whole
now is garbage.
can the defense keep the game close enough that you
Yeah,
can
but
run?
we're saying that about the defense. But like the defense, like when Cooper Rush was out, what did we say about the defense? Defense, y'all got to step it up. What did the defense do?
Last year, you mean?
No, when Cooper Rush had to come in, he was winning games. The defense played really. They stepped up. That's what we said. They stepped
Yeah,
up.
the
The
defense.
offense
The
hasn't
defense
stepped
was
up.
better then.
I know, but asking the defense that's down 4 defensive
Wait,
ends to be ballers is kind of like
This defense has no pass rushers.
I can't.
that's what I'm
This
saying.
defense has one cornerback. This defense isn't as good as that
So
defense.
protect the defense.
I agree, but this defense is giving up. Detroit
So
didn't punt.
the counterpoint to that though is if you're running the ball at just like you did against Detroit, where Zeke's picking up 2 yards a carry, you're not helping your defense. Yeah, sure,
What
you're
about if you're running it
wasting
like Pittsburgh?
you're wasting 40 seconds of play or whatever, right? For the play clock,
Yep.
right? To run whatever.
What if you're running it like Pittsburgh?
Well, that's a different
All right,
story. We can all say if you're running like Pittsburgh, run the goddamn ball all day.
Okay, and then it goes back to McCarthy. Why did that get completely abandoned?
I think we're all in agreement here. If you can run the
Were
ball,
they-
run the ball, and if you can do it with Daddle, do it with Daddle. Like just fucking figure it out. If it's not working, stick with it for as long as you can. But if it gets out of
Yes.
hand, you got to change it up at that point. And I guess that's what I'm saying. I think that's what Rob's saying too. Stick with it while you can. When it gets out of hand,
Yeah.
get out of it.
Listen,
Travis.
everybody wanted to know, and some already do know. Can Dak carry this team? Well, now you're going to see. This is it. You're getting paid $60 million. This is what you got to do.
I just
You
think
know-
Mike's been too quick to
Well, Mike
eject
is
on
not a
eject
good.
on the running game.
He's
That's my
not
problem.
a good play caller. We know this.
I know, but I'm just
But
saying. I
this
think he's
is
been
on
too quick.
Oh,
to
I
eject
agree with
on it.
you. I agree with you. It was too quick last week, and we had the wrong guy in the game. I mean, that's
Yep.
that's point blank
Dak
obvious.
needs to carry this offense, and how he has to do. He has to run whatever he has to do. It has to go through Dak. He has to play his ass off. CeeDee Lamb has to play. They all do, because they all look at each other and say, "Listen, we don't have much of a running game." And then the defense, they have to keep it close. We have to score. We have to get a lead. When was the last time we had a lead, like 10, 12, 14 points? It's been forever, it seems. But we all want to run the ball. It's great when we can run the ball, because usually good things happen in the passing game with the play action. But right now, I don't think you can manufacture. I think somehow you have to kind of like fake it. You can't say to them, "Here we come, we're going to run." 49ers would love that. You would live in 3rd and 7 the whole
And
game Sunday.
Not only that, but Travis and
So
everybody who's
what's the deal with
advocating
Dalvin Cook? Is this guy going to play? Or is he in
Hey,
witness?
hang on a second, Rob. I don't think you can hear Sue talking.
Yeah, it's all good. I had to leave and come back in, man. My stuff was messed up. But
Yeah, jacked up.
but not only that, I mean, everybody's using Pittsburgh as the lone example of when we ran the ball well. How many times were we in 13 personnel? How many times were we in 12 personnel then? If you're gonna use that as the example and then be like, see, it's like, bro, we
No,
weren't
I'm not
in
saying
13.
that.
We weren't
I'm
in
just-
big house.
I'm just
You know what
saying
I'm saying?
it's we've shown it, but then we went completely away from it. That's the point on that.
The run
But I'm
for
just
sure.
saying- right.
But I'm saying at this point, we're so like we've exhausted this point so long. Like we all want to run the ball better. It just comes down to your philosophy on how to do so.
Right.
Some of us want to, bulk
I don't
it
hear
up and
anybody.
try to. Some of us want to bulk it up and try to, play big boy personnel and see if we can establish a run that way. And some are like, no, we don't want to do that because we're already having a hard time running against a damn near empty. You know what I'm saying? Like no, like not empty. I'm sorry, but like just a base package every single time. We have light boxes and we're having a hard enough time doing that. If we expose ourselves and be like, hey, we're bringing out 13 personnel, bring out some bigger guys on their end, we're going to have an even harder time. So I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think if there was a right or wrong answer, I'm hoping that an NFL caliber coaching staff would have figured it out by now. But I don't think there's a right or wrong answer right now. I think we have to figure out what your offensive line is. You have to figure out if, Rico has had good vision. Rico has had bad vision. We have to figure out which Rico you're going to get each week. You're going to figure out, why you have Zeke there. Period. There's a lot of things that you have to figure out. You know what I mean? So it's we're all in agreement that we definitely want to run the ball better. We just none of us have the exact answer. And Travis, I don't think you're wrong in your approach at all. I don't think you're wrong. It's just not something that I'm like, yeah, like that's right either. Does that make sense? It's like you're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and there's nothing wrong with that because at this point, because of how bad this team has played, that's pretty much all we have to really hang our hat on.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, real
Right.
quick,
I get I
Trav.
get that though, but at the end of the day, to me, this team and what's been plaguing this team for years, or what really gets me triggered with this team is we can't handle success. So say that we beat San Francisco, we probably show up and blow their ass out or something. Then we go next week to Atlanta and drop a ball. It's something about I can't understand. I definitely like me cannot figure out why do we not just continue to do the great things that we do. It's like what Travis always been saying. Like we find a guy, show some shit, and then next week it's like what the fuck.
0 targets.
So right. So it doesn't to me. It come back to coaching. So this is really this game really gonna tell me that McCarthy gonna have a chance of even getting a new contract at the end of the year because if he can't win this game or at least have this team competitive, which you should still be able to win because I don't care what anybody say. Since we go down bad, and if we can't get these boys right now, then what the fuck? What are we doing? Because this shit here, man, I'm just saying, we gotta find a way to win this fucking game. It's got to be a way. So time will tell, but we'll see. But I want to run the ball just as bad as anybody here. But we got to figure out what works better for her and just stick with that shit and stop fucking around with the Zeke experiment or we saving Zeke for what? What the fuck are we saving him for? If he can't even be the red zone guy. Just let him be the red zone guy, and then we can and basically just make that his role this whole year. So if he understand that, then we ain't gotta have this more talk about. We need to put him in between the 20s. No, you just the red zone, 1 yard goal line back. That's what your role is until Rico get hurt or some other shit. But that's what you gonna do the whole year. So don't you worry about trying to run regular shit. You just sit your ass over here. Rico got that until Rico get hurt or something. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Like I said, I just want to go to this offensive line and maybe they have done it. So like to Sue's point, maybe they have done it and we just can't. But I hope I think that's the approach I'm taking is I want to go to this offensive line and say it's on you guys. That's basically what I'm saying is like I want to put it on them and say let's go do this and try to get them, like I said, moving forward, not having to pass that as much, which we all admit that's not a great thing either. Like again, I don't think this line is going to hold up that way either. And again, I'm not saying let's be stupid about it. We're already stupid with how we call plays, but I do think it's important that they change up the mechanics and how they're going about running. Which again, maybe they won't because
Can
they
we get
haven't.
can we get Zach? Can we get Zach really give us
I
a
think he's
last
gonna have a
hurrah?
bounce
Can
back
we get
game.
him
Yeah,
can we get a last hurrah to Zach? That's him.
yeah,
If we get Terrence Steele is trash. So
yeah,
if we can just get him to do something, just don't fucking get our quarterback killed. How about that? Can we
yeah.
just at least do that?
But
Don't get our quarterback killed.
and the benefit of it, the other benefit of it too is like again, if I know we say they're worthless, right? I know they say we're worthless, but I think the point to bring up is even though we may not run it great at times, when you start pushing and leaning on some of these DNs and whatnot, it might give Dak that extra half second in the second half. It might give Dak a little bit more time if even though you've had a couple of those runs or whatever, but you're letting Tyler Guyton and Steele, which Steele's best thing is more run blocking than pass. It might just give you a slight chance here or there later in the second half if the game is close, where those guys are worn down a little bit and they're not teeing off in for the 50th pass rush rep. That's all I'm saying. So Kaysen, I know you jumped in here and got a mic. What's up, man?
Hey man, I just wanted to just kind of just tell y'all about how I'm just feeling about this whole, about this team, so far this season. Just um, I've been real disappointed, just in our front office how they've addressed, so many of the weaknesses that we are having on this roster. You know, they never addressed anything, didn't do anything in free agency, and they keep depending on the draft. I mean, it's good to build through the draft and things like that, but you got to have veterans and get guys that from free agency, you know, that can help this team and you know, be a good source for the guys who are, you know, who just got drafted, you know, for the rookies. And only person we got is Eric Kendricks. You know, I think Eric Kendricks is a good player. You know, he's doing the best he can, but that's all you really got. You know, and everybody else, you know, we don't really have anything else outside of that. I mean, we got O line as well. We got two rookies on the O line. You know, Zach Martin. You know, I mean, he's having his a very off year, but you got Terrence Steele. You know, you paid him money, and so now you know you're likely gonna probably get rid of him. You know, in the off season, that's a possibility, and you're gonna lose a lot of money by getting rid of him because you paid him when I don't think he should have even got the contract in the first place. He didn't really do anything to earn it. He did good, his first time as a starter until he got hurt. But I mean, you want to be careful about how you do those things, when before you're paying somebody. Um, and so right now we're just in growing pains with the O line, and it's like we're looking like we're gonna have to start over on the O line again. And that's my concern, going into next year as well. And with Dak, Dak's doing the best he can. And the O line won't even give him enough time. They're always in his lap and things like that. There's no excuse for Dak. Like Dak's not playing well, but when your entire offense isn't good, like that just makes it harder for the quarterback. You know, you look at Jared Goff and guys like them who have it easy for them because they have a great run game. Their receivers get wide open in space. He's able to throw it in those open spots. You know, that old line is really good. You got Sam Laporte. You got a lot of those weapons out there for Jared Goff, and
He
he
got a
he doesn't
great
even he
caller.
doesn't even he doesn't even have to throw over 25 to 30 times. He's throwing like nearly just 20. Like that's literally all he's doing. While Dak's throwing 40 times a game, and it's just unfair because we're just saying, okay, Dak, you got paid 60 million, so you're just gonna have to you just have to do more with less. I don't care how Jared Goff, Mahomes, and Josh Allen, all these guys. I don't care how many weapons they have. You're the highest paid guy, so we're just gonna let you do whatever. We're gonna make you do whatever with less, and it's unfair of how they are treating Dak Prescott. It's very bad. Like I honestly, I love Dak being a Cowboy, but I would have loved for him to go to a new team that appreciates him and would help him. And the Cowboys just failed to do that. And our fan base, they're gonna blame Dak a lot. Throughout his career, as long as the Cowboys have their have a drought. And after that, the next quarterback that comes in, he's gonna get blamed. It's gonna be the same pattern over and over again. And that's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of our fan base always blaming the one particular guy on the team when good and well when Dak's out of here, you're gonna be wanting him back, saying you miss Dak, ha ha. Just the same way you said you miss Romo, you did Romo dirty the same way. And so it's gonna be another pattern. The next guy in line is gonna get blamed after Dak is done. So I'm disappointed in our fan base of how we do things because we let Jerry Jones lie to us and feed us lies about that this is the team of the '90s and all this type of stuff and that this is a championship team and it's not. It's just this team is just good enough to be competitive and make the playoffs and they may win a playoff game here or there, but they aren't a team that can get to a Super Bowl because Jerry Jones has not built a championship winning team. He hasn't. I don't care how many Pro Bowlers we have. If you don't address the positions that you are weak in, you are not going to go far in the playoffs. That's all I got.
You talking about defensive tackle?
Yeah,
I mean,
defensive tackle defensive tackle for
yeah,
sure.
and I say it as a joke because I mean that was glaringly obvious to anybody who knows anything about football that they went into the season with basically one guy who was coming off a shoulder injury who hadn't done
What about
anything.
linebacker last year?
Well, they fixed.
that's
They made a choice though. I mean, they got some talent. They drafted a guy. Oh, you're talking about making a trade last year for linebacker during
Yeah.
the season. I got you. Yeah, I mean that's a different story I think than signing a guy in free agency. I mean, we're talking, making us a move in free agency this year to be competitive. I mean, defensive tackle, there was a plethora of them, and they decided not even to try to pursue any of them and to go in the season with basically one guy. This defense would be immensely different with just one. Imagine how good it was or think back to how good it was with Hankins, or not even good, but serviceable with Hankins, and he was a below average defensive tackle. So you get a guy
He
who's
hasn't
just
been good this year, by the way.
no,
but
he
that's
hasn't.
neither here nor there.
He hasn't. He's a below average guy, but he made this defense better when he was in versus Mozzie. Imagine they had like a DJ Reed or just one guy in the middle. Just one dude. That's all we needed. and the defense would be immensely different.
Jerry's not going to invest in his team because he doesn't want to pick the players for the next coach. And when Belichick comes in, he's going to pick his own people. This was a this
Belichick.
is
I
this
don't
is
think he's gonna, Rob, because he's already mentioned that he doesn't want to. He doesn't. If he does come in, he doesn't want to do like he's already sort of speaking the Cowboys language of saying he doesn't really want, like, yeah, he's gonna have input, but he doesn't want to be what he was with the Patriots, having like that. He doesn't want to have the same input he had with the Patriots, which is actually better anyways, if that were the case.
he's not. I think Belichick is made for this job. He's going to look at it like, okay, got my quarterback for the next 4 years. Got top wide receiver, Micah
As long
Parsons.
as it's not Josh McDaniels.
He'll bring in a young OC. I think they said, listen, let him shop for the groceries, like Bill Parcells used to say, and I'm okay with that.
No interest in interviewing Ben Johnson?
I would. Him and
Well-
Slowick.
Well, here's the problem with bringing in a Ben Johnson. He's never been a head coach.
I don't care. You know what I would say to
I mean,
counter that?
Mike McCarthy's
Rob?
been a head coach for a long time.
You know what I would say to counter that, Rob, though, is the reason I would be in on that is because he has been side by side with Dan Campbell, going back to the point I mentioned before about Jared Goff and how you build a team around a quarterback.
I'm not looking at it through my eyes or the fans'
I
eyes.
know. I hear what you're saying.
This is made for Jerry. He's 82. Belichick comes in immediately. Now they're the talk of the town because they're going to have a shit year this year. Belichick could do a couple of things that none of these coaches can do. He automatically is the man in the room. You don't have to look at anybody else. You'd look at that guy with all those rings. He's going to fix the defense immediately because you'll go to a 3-4, which Micah Parsons needs if you're going to sign him. If you're not signing him, then trade him. But he needs a 3-4 or you're going to kill him. And he'll correct the penalties. He'll instill a toughness and a culture like we've been talking about. If he brings in an offensive coordinator who's up to date and understands how to scheme players, I think it would be a great hire. And I think that's why they're not going to invest in anybody in free agency. And I disagree with the Dak thing. The Cowboys, they took care of Dak like no other. The man got 2 contracts. The second contract, he did not deserve $60 million a year. I don't know why you had to jump from 53, 54, where everybody else was, to 60. Dak's not a good enough player to demand that. And I just think Belichick looks around the league and says, okay, where can I go? It's either he's going to look at the Giants and say no. Philadelphia, okay, that would maybe the other one.
Well, let
No,
me say
they'll end
something
up
real
getting
quick.
Ben Johnson. Watch.
So yeah, probably. Oh God, that would suck. Belichick, you said he can come in and establish a culture or whatever, right? That's fine, that's fair. But I guess my question is, can he connect with the younger guys of today? Because Belichick's like 70-something years old. What, he's 75 or so? Can he connect and relate enough to these guys? Because these guys are, these guys aren't professionals. I keep going back to that word. But these guys aren't the Brady style professionals. Like these are kids.
I think that's overrated. I think look what happened last year. I think one of the issues last year is when Micah Parsons started calling Dan Quinn his uncle. I'm like, that's bullshit.
But that's what I mean. Like, can he connect with the Micah Parsons? Does Micah have that respect for him?
You know how he connects? He shows them all those rings. He's got 8. He's got 6 and 2. And he could turn around and say, Micah, you're a badass player, but I coached the greatest defensive player that ever lived. And if you want to be like him, we're going to go do this. And I think Mike would be like, well, hell yeah, I want to be like that.
I would respond well to a Belichick because I appreciate his history. I understand how good he is. I don't know if the kids coming into the league right now, 21-year-old kids, 20-year-old kids, however old they are, I don't know if they can connect with a guy like that who doesn't speak their language, so to say.
That's why he'd have to bring he'd have to bring his. Yeah, I don't want him to bring the same. I don't want him to bring the band of guys he had, Dylan, to your point. That's why I want him to bring. He needs, if he's, I will say this, Rob, I'm out on him if he says, yep, I'm going to bring Pencil behind the ear and Josh McDaniels and Joe Judge. I'm out. Sorry. Like if I say, because you know what happens in these interviews, they say, okay, who are you bringing? Yeah, if you mention Josh, no, sorry.
No, I totally agree. It has to be an offensive coordinator. The first thing Jerry would have to say is, who's the OC?
Right.
I don't care about Matt Patricia. He wants to come because it's Belichick's defense. I don't give a damn who's considered that guy. It don't matter. It's Belichick's defense, and nobody is better than him.
Can I
But
give you a crazy one that would run his defense that I've floated, Rob? That would make a lot of sense to me. He's been out of football. Well, actually, I guess he's not been out of football. He's been with the Browns. I'd bring Vrabes and have Vrabes call the defense, and then he's here for a year, and he probably gets Dan Quinn treatment, where he eventually gets another head coaching job somewhere because of the visibility. I'd be okay with Belichick being here, Vrabes on the defense, and then have, like I said, have some younger staff. To Dylan's point, to sort of be able to connect with the younger guys.
It's a stupid thing to have to say that and connect, right? But like, what, Rob?
Dylan, of course he connect to the young guys. His girlfriend's only 23.
Oh, that's a good point.
Damn it, Rob! I had my hand up for that joke.
Got him.
What are you talking about? As soon as he walks in, all those young guys will be like, "Man, that's the man right there, boy."
I'm sure he's connected. Yeah, I'm sure he is.
G-Man, what's up? I know you got a mic. What's going on, dude?
Oh no, I had a lot of things to say, but this conversation went somewhere else.
Oh, you can bring. Hey, you can go whatever way. Yeah,
bring
you
us
go wherever
back,
you want.
brother. Bring us back. What you got?
First of all, I think he might have to get rid of that girlfriend before he comes here. I remember hearing Nick say something like that, and I think it was a joke, but I kind of think that's serious because it goes to the point of these young kids are not gonna follow him as much as we might think. So that's the one thing.
Now, when you say young players, wait. When you say young players, like who are you talking about?
The young rookies that are going to be coming in, or even the young players that are in now. Like,
well, we don't have really any young
also,
players.
You might be right. That could also be overrated. I could just be overthinking that.
Yeah, I think that's. I think first of all, I think the young players.
But still, something to watch out for.
They have no
also, I was going to say, someone said something about Dak not being a good enough player to command 60.
Me, I said
million.
that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I agree with that, but I can also see that perspective. I was also wondering. So say so how much help do we think that Dak needs then?
Too much for 60. That's the problem.
A little less than Jared Goff.
But you've got the cap space. You've got with his 60 and CD's deal and the incoming Mike deal. You still have plenty of room. There's plenty of cap space available. It's just the team doesn't want to utilize that cap space for outside talent. Like they can afford 100% to get the help from the outside. They just won't.
Rob, you really hold up now, because I ain't gonna I like Dak too, but he don't need that much. He needs a goddamn running back and a fucking damn line. If you give him that, he's solid. He did it in 2016.
I agree with Dylan. What I'm saying is, yes, I don't really care that Dak makes 60. It really, in the sense of that he's making 60. What's bothering me, and just because of Jerry, in Jerry's brain, he says, if I'm paying you 60, I shouldn't have to buy that guy and that guy.
He thinks he's Mahomes.
So you're just pissed off at Jerry, is what it comes down to.
So what bothers me?
I do think there's credibility to that, though, Dylan.
I
agree with Dylan. I agree that, yes, financially, I always said this money's fake. You could move this shit all the way around. But knowing Jerry says, wait a minute, you wanted 60. I gave you 60. You wanted 34. I gave you 34. Now make it happen. And that's why I wish they didn't pay him 60.
No, but I'm saying, but Jerry did that. But Jerry also said, hey, we're gonna have to make a sacrifice, because basically we're paying for the sins of the past. Dylan and Blade it out for us with his videos and stuff. We got a lot of backloaded contracts that's coming to roost now. We still got dead money we're gonna have dead money for Zach if he retire. Tank got dead money. It's a lot of dead money out there. So at the end of the day, he do got to make do with it.
You know how Jerry's petty. He's petty like that because Jerry doesn't like to lose deals, and he lost these deals. He lost the Dak deal by a mile. I just said the deal could have been at 53, 54 with everybody else, but somehow he blew past that to 60. Jerry lost that deal, and Jerry is now saying, okay, this is what you want. And you hear him say it. He said it the other day in a way. Hey, I had to drop 60 on this guy, 34 on this guy. You're not getting anybody else, which is bullshit because you could do it. But that's why I wish they didn't pay Dak, because I had a feeling he was going to pull this.
Well, it's just all about allocating your funds, and they good at doing that bullshit. But at the end of the day, what the mistake they made is not even really trying to even remotely try to see if Derrick Henry can fit. Because when he said that shit on the interview the other day, I was like, so you telling me you didn't want to go get a running back that can make a way out of no way, and we gonna roll with Zeke? Make it make sense. How
Here's
the
the
fuck
problem,
did we
man.
get to
This is
that?
where it all comes down to. And Rob, you said it. Jerry doesn't like to lose deals. You lose the deal in free agency if you're overpaying for a guy. But
Yep.
I'm like, it's okay to overpay for a guy when you have a glaring need. Like you got to pay premium money for that shit. You got to
Admit
pay
the
top dollar
mistake.
for it. Yeah. Admit
The sad
it's not
part
even
is-
a mistake. It's just, I mean, this is a big roster. There's a lot of positions to fill. It's not even a mistake if you just are missing a piece. But like, fill the piece. That you've now
It is
made a
th-
mistake
it
by
is
not
though,
filling
Dylan,
it.
because they did that this year where they said like remember what he said? We got young guys, they just got to step up. Well, if you
Well,
really
that's the
assess it
mistake
and
right
you
there.
right,
Yes.
but that's the internal assessment of I'm a Michigan guy. I'm taking it on the nose right now. Mozzie hasn't been good enough. Has Schoonmaker been? If they could have
No.
looked in the offseason and said, I know we have Schoonmaker, but can we maybe get a free agent and give him a buffer? Like, it's that type of stuff. But instead, he's going to say, no, we have young guys. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I
no.
understand you,
Your
but that
roster's
doesn't
always
mean
going to have holes. Like it just is
Right.
what it is because there's a lot of positions to fill. But you've got to try to at least patch those holes up the best you can. And Jerry took a piece of gum and stuck it over the dam with this DT situation and
Who
said,
was the
"Please
running
hold."
back that left Green Bay and went to Minnesota?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron
Aaron
Jones.
Jones. Yeah,
That was the.
he was
I
a
got to be honest.
perfect
That's
fit.
the guy I wanted. I wanted him more than Derrick Henry
He was a perfect fit this year.
because of the money. I knew Jerry Jones would be like, I'm not going. But what was Aaron Jones getting paid this year?
It's like 3.8 million is his cap.
I
hit.
mean, there's a guy.
But he
and
got like 7 million. I think I want to say he got like 7 though. It
No,
sound
no,
like 7 a year, something
more
like
than
that.
Henry. He didn't get more than Henry.
No, no, he got like I think he's around that though.
I looked at that and I'm saying,
Check
there's
it
a
out.
guy that you saw firsthand beat your ass every time you played. He's available. He wasn't going to be that expensive. You need a running back. And I was watching the Minnesota game and I'm like, look at this dude. This guy would be great in Dallas. But nope.
Davion, you're right. He did get 7 million guaranteed, but they still could have afforded it. They still could have afforded it.
No. I mean, I'm with Rob. I wouldn't mind having him, but at the end of the day,
I thought he was the
they
perfect.
ain't already told us and told all of us it's on this call right now that they're not paying more than $3 or $4 million for a running back. So
They said to the
it
world,
is what it is at this point now.
Dak, you got to do it all now.
That's partly because they are also paying like $6 million of Zeke, right? So they're really paying like $9 million for a running back. So,
Yeah.
but
Just so you guys know, over the cap right now says their dead money deals. Over the cap's usually pretty legit. Dylan, I know you've probably looked at this, so you can tune out for a second. Michael Gallup, 8.7 next year. Fehoko, which is nothing. Eric Scott. So they have 9.2 million in dead cap next year. So tell me that even though Nick keeps talking about it, I don't understand where oh my God, next year is going to be. It's going to be so much worse than this year. It doesn't work that way.
Well, I think he's sticking to the thought process of the pre-Dak contract because pre-Dak that his dead money was going to hit right away, but because he signed his deal, they're able to extend that dead money out, that $45 million, instead of hitting all at once. It hits over the next 3 years now. So I think I'm assuming that's what he's probably referring to, and he probably hasn't just looked at the numbers to see the updated.
And here's a perfect Dallas. Micah Parsons hasn't had a really good year compared to the past. So let's say he has a down year this year. This is when you want to go pay him. This is when you go say, I'm sorry, bro, but that $40 million you thought you were getting,
Which player?
ain't happening. Micah.
Yeah.
Micah has a down year this year. And
he's still gonna get it, Rob. The same reason why Dak got 60. You know why?
He's not going to get it. He would have to wait another year. He would have to wait another year. He can't.
No,
leave.
he can hold out. He's gonna hold out.
And look what happens. You lose money. Look at Reddick. When you hold out,
you don't think they would cave? This is part of the problem, though. Every player. To your point, every player. No, didn't you just say Jerry got? He massively lost that one. That's the problem with this organization.
Yeah,
is that everyone knows they're massively going to lose.
They'll. A quarterback is different.
We'll see. You bet me on the 60 million, Rob. You want to go again?
No, because I fucked up on that 60.
No, but Travis, to be fair though, you have mentioned that you feel like this front office doesn't handle the contract, situation very well. Like if I'm not mistaken, you in the past had said that you would have been on board with signing Dak after he led the league in interceptions. If you know Jerry's not going to say goodbye to him, you might as well sign him on his down year where you have a little bit of leverage, not the following year when he's runner-up MVP. And I think that's what Rob is saying.
Yeah.
Rob is basically saying, like, right now, while Micah's down, you have a little bit more leeway in negotiations. I mean, will it work? I don't know, but I understand that's where he's coming from. But
But he's not. He's not. But guys, he's not down right now. He's hurt. So
Yeah, but
it
doesn't
no,
matter.
but it don't matter.
Dak,
It don't matter.
Dak
It don't
reset
matter
it with
if
a
he's
broken.
hurt or not.
Dak reset it with a broken leg.
Hey,
I'm saying
guys.
you don't know how the rest of the year gonna play out there. You're trying to say
No, I don't, and I hope he.
It's
Yeah.
the thing is at that level. My point is what the same thing with Dak. What's your alternative?
What do you mean?
Okay,
You
don't have Micah. Who are you getting?
Who you were replacing with? Yeah.
But it's easier to get a Micah than it is a quarterback. So what I'm saying is
the Bears made that Khalil Mack trade and they did nothing with it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you're gonna sign Micah, which we think they're gonna, and they got this season, and then next season.
No, they don't. They have this season.
No.
His agent. I'm telling you.
Wait a minute. Wait, I'm not talking about holding out. Yes, he could pull that.
He's
stuff.
going to hold out. It's not
well,
even.
Then he's going to lose $20 million.
It's not even. It's not even up for debate because the last client that his agent had was Derwin James in San Diego. He was a first round pick. He had a 5-year deal. He was not play. His agent never was going to let him play that.
Listen, Jerry's not going to say anything. He's not going to admit it. Jerry's going to sign Micah very quick this offseason because this offseason was fucking brutal for Jerry. He doesn't like being the bad guy. He hates the way this offseason went and these contracts. I would put money on him signing Micah very quickly after the season. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. If Belichick comes in.
Real quick. Yo, thank you so much, Dylan.
Rob, we don't need you to stop with that Belichick shit.
Real quick, I'm gonna hop out. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, real quick for the guys who, because I heard like a lot of voices today that I hadn't recognized before. David, I know we already spoke, but anybody else, if y'all want to join the community, we do this every week, man. We have a good time, chop it up. We argue, we debate, but we have a good time with it. So if you guys want to join the community, please feel free to do so. Until next time, I'm signing out, guys.
See you
soon. Here we go for all the new people.
See you soon.
You know the one thing Jerry still thinks at 82 years old. He thinks that these players sit down with their girlfriends or wives and say, but I really want to be a Dallas Cowboy. Those days are over. You don't have
Micah did.
Yeah, but you don't have to. Yeah, but it's different. Wait, he wanted to get drafted by the Cowboys. But
right.
When it comes to getting paid, they're not going to take a discount to stay. Those days are over. So it's like Dak said.
I don't know if Jerry's.
Hey, Rob, hold on. I want real quick. I just chime in here real quick because Rob, I have to agree with Dylan on this, and you guys have to. I mean, there's a reason why every single free agent that comes out in the league is tied to the Dallas Cowboys. You know why? Because as soon as you mention your name tied in with the Cowboys, you just made an extra mil.
Yeah, but I don't think them. I think that's the agent. I think first of all, half those deals.
It's not the agent. It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, but that's not the guy. That's ESPN. That's the agents.
No,
float that out there for bullshit.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I totally disagree. Here's the thing. Listen to this. Before there was any type of salary cap in this league, who dominated in this league?
Yeah, the Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys did.
And the 49ers.
Jerry paid everybody. Okay. The reason why Dallas is Jerry's, and I agree with Dylan 100% with this situation. He's kind of in a shitty situation. I'm not protecting him by any stretch of the imagination because I do think that he's not very good at manipulating the cap, unfortunately, in some aspects. But at the same time, he gets used like a freaking hooker, dude. These guys tie their names into him, and it makes it tough for him to sign players because.
No, I disagree.
I don't know, dude. I don't.
Wait a minute. They had that old saying. Remember the old saying when you would hear, "Oh, so and so is going to visit Dallas." What did you used to hear? Oh, he ain't getting out of the room. Now they all leave Dallas. Look at all the players lost. Everybody showed
I don't think so.
And never got out of the room without a contract. Now they're all gone. They use Dallas in the sense of Whoa, he's going to Cowboys. Jerry may sign him, but Jerry doesn't sign these guys anymore
Can
like he used to.
can I tell you another reason why he's going to sign him quickly? Dallas is going to restructure Dak and CD right away. They already have it built into their contracts to lower their cap hit next season and over the next couple of years. They're about to have. I was just doing some reading on this. They're about to have $85 million worth of cap space to deal with next year. They're going to have all sorts of room to play with and maneuver and do whatever the hell they got to do to fill out this roster. And that's including signing Micah Parsons early without having to worry about the repercussions of his contract. For a few years.
100%, which is one of the reasons why he gave everybody in this coaching staff a 1-year deal. Because if he listen, he's not a dumb guy. If he was a dumb guy, he wouldn't own the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm pretty sure that he's a lot smarter than most of us in this conversation right now. So I mean, I hate to sit here and knock on a guy that's a multi-billionaire who's done very well for himself and question some of the shit he does. We can all question. We all make stupid decisions, but I have to think that there's no way in God's earth that this guy is putting a team together to fail. I have a hard time believing that. I'm a business owner myself. I'm sure there's some other ones in here as well. There's no way that anybody puts together a business to fail. I highly doubt that.
He's not putting it to fail.
Does
He's
anybody
not
believe
putting
that
it
though?
to win championships, though. He only wants to be relevant.
Wait a second.
That's
I don't
He's
agree
put
with
it.
that.
He's put. Hold on. They use the term. Okay, hold on. They use the term "hang around the rim," which you might as well interpret as just be competitive enough. We're to Dylan's point again because Nick keeps talking about this, Dylan. I know you said maybe he hasn't looked at it, but you just highlighted it right there. We're gonna find. I'm gonna say it like this: we're gonna find the frick out which one of you is right, because with all this cap space, if they do jack diddly crap and they do what we think they're gonna do, which is, hey David, hey Rob, we just signed Micah, we just signed Jake, we're out of money, then I'm gonna say bull to the crap.
Yeah,
you're right. Just highlight how much money that. If they do nothing in free agency, then that is going to tell you.
No, they're gonna do
here.
something in free agency.
You say that. What tells you
see.
they're going to do that?
Because Bill Belichick's going to make them.
Oh, okay.
I agree with you, Travis. If come next season and we're sitting on our hands with that much cap space,
and it's day 15 of free agency and they haven't signed anybody.
Exactly, I'm going to be pissed as shit, just like everybody else.
But Jerry told you that being relevant is more important than going for it. He said that.
But hang on.
About the Rams.
I don't know if I believe that.
He's not saying relevant in terms of like, I want to make sure our name stays in the news. He's saying relevant. He's saying relevant as in being competitive. He's saying as in getting into the playoffs and hoping it goes your way in the playoffs. Now, what I have an issue with Jerry is that there's glaring holes, there's glaring needs, and you're right there. You're right there, like the linebacker situation last year. You could have made a trade by the trade deadline for a linebacker. Okay, you're right there. And yes, I agree with hanging around the rim. I actually agree with that philosophy because it's a crapshoot a lot of times in the playoffs, but you have to give yourself the best edge as possible to capitalize on. Yes, there's luck involved, but you got to give yourself the best chance in the playoffs. And you can't just hang around the rim and never go for the dunk. You've got to, at some point, you got to put the ball through the net, right?
That's where we disagree, though.
Well, what do we disagree about? Talk to me.
I disagree. We disagree with like the problem with that notion to me is like you say, well, we got to set it up to get. Are we going to make the playoffs this year?
Well, no, it's very clearly a reload season. But you made the playoffs 3 years in a row, though, and this league's built on parity. You're not supposed to make it 3 years in a row.
Okay, and that's fair. But tell me what move they made in those 3 years was an over the top move. Was it?
Well, Travis. I said that. That's my problem.
Okay, but that goes back to Rob's point of like it's just good enough. Like I don't want to hear from Jerry at the trade deadline when you have a safety sacrificing himself playing linebacker, and he literally said, I'm going to keep saying it. After that, the trade deadline passed, he said out loud, I'm good with where the roster is. Meanwhile, everybody in Green Bay 6 weeks before the game was like, dude, we know you have safeties playing linebacker.
Okay, so let me just say this.
That is not a champ that you're showing me. That's not either. It's one of two things. It's either stupidity or it's negligent. Either way, you pick on that one, it's on him, and that's not Jerry, football.
Jerry's not as hungry as he was. He's at 82. I get it. He's afraid to fall off the cliff. But in this league,
what do you mean? We've been off the cliff before McCarthy was there. I don't believe that, guys. We went through a very shitty period with Garrett, with a bunch of other guys. I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that either.
So then why didn't he make it?
We haven't been relevant for 30 years.
Okay, but
until
listen,
lately.
why didn't he build on the team last year?
Well, that's
'Cause that
where the
team last
problem
year
is.
has been the best team they've had in the last 5 years. They needed 2-3 pieces. You could have built on the team we had last year.
I think
But
we
big,
can all agree they mismanaged it this offseason out of fear. There's a reason they did it. They didn't do it just to bullshit around and to just twiddle their thumbs, right? They were fearful of not getting Dak re-signed. They were fearful of not
100%.
having. There was
100%.
repercussions for not getting these contracts done, and you can say it's on them
100%.
for not getting the deals done, but they didn't get done until it was too late. Now, what I'll say, and
100%.
I think Travis, you might be missing my point. 2021, hang around the rim year, whatever. 2022, hang around the rim year, whatever. 2023 was the year to go for it, and they didn't go for it by making that splash move towards the middle of the season when clearly they should have. All right, and so what I'm saying is that yes, hanging around the rim, I do appreciate that strategy, but there's a certain point when you have to pick your target and say, this is the year, this is it right here, this is when we're going to go for it. And then if you have a reload season like we're having right now this season, it is what it is. But they're having a reload without even having gone for it.
But I don't think.
Hey,
But here's
Dylan,
the
but
thing.
you know what,
I don't think
though?
they want to have these years though. And this is where, and I know this
But it's
is a
inevitable,
story,
so
but
they got to
I
figure
know,
it out, right?
But I don't think they want. I'm saying, in the business sense, I don't think. And Nick's has made this point. Like when they're good, it's better for their business off the field. That is true. And I don't think they want down years because to them, down years is bad for business.
but how did they not? How
And
did
they
they
need
not
and
look
they
at
need to
the
get
team?
over that shit is what I'm saying. If
But
we again if they take a step back from that and they're like, you know what, we don't have to be the most valuable like this year or have the highest profit margin or whatever, and let's say we're just fourth or fifth, but we actually go for it and we win a championship. Are you really going to give an F if it was like, well, we weren't the
Hey,
most popular team this year?
guys, hold on. Let me ask a question in regards to this whole adding a guy, right? First of all, I don't disagree. I mean, obviously, it's always nice to have players. Players win championships. Coaches lose championships, as they say all the time. But it's not like he hasn't tried. Did we not? Didn't we not bring Amari Cooper over
You
in
get
the middle of?
sorry, David, you get zero credit from me on that.
That's one move,
Okay, I
though.
get that. But did we not? Did we not?
We
That's
did,
Was
one
he
move.
not?
we
I
did,
feel like
but why did we? But tell me, okay, now answer the second part of
we
that
did.
question.
we had no wide
Why did we do it?
we needed them. We had
We
no
needed
We
him.
had Cole
We needed him.
Beasley as our number one. We had
Right. Right. We needed him. Right.
yeah.
100%.
It was a move out of desperation. It wasn't a move
Okay.
again to be competitive because your
I
wide
to my
receiver room
point.
was not competitive.
Hey,
I don't
look at what
disagree.
the Chiefs just did. That's the move I think
Yep.
that we're talking about. Is you have
Yep.
a great team and you have
Yep.
one specific
Yep.
need you need to
That's
fill.
Glaring
Make the
hole at
trade.
wide receiver. Nah, we're good.
there you go.
So
Yeah.
so
That's
No.
the
everybody.
difference.
Listen, guys. I'm not defending the guy. Trust me, I'm not. But trust me, I'm not, because I rather have trust. I rather have. I mean, it'd be nice to pick up another receiver for sure. Um, I think a huge issue was not addressing the interior defensive line this year. No matter what anybody says, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That defensive line, the interior defensive line, should have been addressed in the
But
100%.
offseason
David,
period. I think that was the
David,
biggest need.
you say you're not defending him, but you knew going into this year, we lost a bunch of starters and we never replaced them. You were going to go into this year with a rookie left tackle, a rookie center, no running back, no second wide receiver, and you lost all your pass rushers. And how did you think this team was going to be better? And then you decided
Rob,
you're going to drop 60 million on a quarterback and
Rob,
34 on a receiver, where that only makes sense if you
Rob.
surround them with talent.
To
This
Dylan's
owner
point,
fucked this whole deal.
on this one with the offseason. Here's with the offseason situation this year. I think 2023 offseason was very unique. Okay. I can tell you right now, I agree with Dylan 100%. The offseason, he screwed up by not signing Dak earlier. He should have signed Dak earlier. That was number one. But what happened when he didn't sign Dak earlier, he was up shit creek without a paddle. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as good as we're standing here right now, we're talking right now, if Dak walks and CD walks, we're having a completely different conversation, and we're really pissed off at him
Well,
right now.
CD was never going to walk. He
Okay,
couldn't. He's on
okay,
the.
but I'm just telling you,
But
whatever.
Dak,
You know what I'm
Dak
saying?
walking, and let me tell you right now, I'd rather have Baker Mayfield at 40 than Dak at 60.
Oh my God, you're crazy. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Only,
I'm
but
sorry.
wait, let me rephrase that. Only if I knew he was going to use the 20 million.
Let me put it to you this way: if we
Because I
don't
don't
have
see a big
Dak this
difference.
year, we're probably 1-5, 0-6.
I'd rather
So I
take
don't
that.
know that I agree with
So
that.
what?
I just don't know that I agree with that. I think, first of all, I'm not throwing in the towel halfway, not even half, a quarter of the way through the season. I think there's still a lot of football to be played. I think we're obviously getting a little hyped up about a lot of things. But the one thing that nobody's gonna tell me is that Dak isn't worth the $60 million. Let me put it this way:
He's not.
nobody's worth that much money in the NFL. Period, in my opinion. None of these
Mahomes
players
is.
should be getting paid
That's
that kind
fair.
of money.
Mahomes is.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
well, yes, Mahomes is. What I meant was nobody deserves this kind of money
Well,
anywhere.
I know,
But
but it's
anyways,
not. I don't use the word deserve because you deserve it if they're willing to give it to you. But what
Yeah,
I'm saying is, Dak hasn't showed me that he could carry a team with less.
But it doesn't matter how much it is. The
Rob,
only thing that matters is he was the next guy up, and this was the next contract
yes.
on the
I
table.
know, but why did they
And
jump to 60?
Well, what's the difference?
I
What was
wanna
it going
ask
to
a
be?
question here.
57?
What's
Rob,
the
because if they
alternative?
don't jump to 60, somebody's going to jump to 65,
But
and you're going to
let
lose
him.
them. And then
But
who are
that
you going to
doesn't mean I
replace
got
them
to
with?
do it.
What's something
Okay,
that
so then you have to be fine with the consequences of not having a quarterback there, and then going through the BS we've been dealing with before the Romo eras, where we had Quincy Carter, Vinci Testaverde,
I don't
Chad
think it's gonna be that
Hutchinson.
bad.
Testaverde was good.
I don't think it's
Hey
gonna be
guys,
that bad anymore, David.
I want to
I'm
say
just saying.
I want to say one thing, and then I want to throw it over to Wilson. I know he's got something to say, but they didn't have a contingency plan for Dak Prescott. So, and I'm glad we're back on this conversation again because it's dominated our offseason talks. But they didn't have a contingency for Dak Prescott, so they had no choice but to sign him. If they had a young guy, a rookie, a second-year guy waiting in the wings, let him walk, whatever, man. Eat the $45 million this year. It is what it is, and start over with a new quarterback. But you had to have had another quarterback, not named Trey Lance, on the roster that was prepared to step in next season when Dak was gone, and they didn't have it. So there was literally no choice. They had to pay Dak the King's ransom, and the King's ransom was due because he was the next guy up, and he's a franchise quarterback. So it just is what it is, and 60 was the number. Could have been 58. It was 60. I'm not going to fuss over a couple million for the franchise quarterback. It is what it is.
I'm not paying it, so I don't care.
Wilson, what
yeah.
up?
So okay, so besides using the word leader, because we throw that a lot with Dak, what is something as a quarterback besides using the word leader that he does that is special or great on the field?
That is an excellent
Nothing.
question.
Nothing.
That beard game's strong, though.
Nothing special. When you say that special, I think of Josh Allen. I think of Lamar. I think of obviously Mahomes, and I'll even throw Burrow in there.
What has Josh Allen done?
Well, no, Josh Allen is special.
That wasn't the question.
No,
the
that is the
question
question.
is special. No. He didn't say what have they done. He said when you look at a player,
What can they do?
what? No, he didn't say that. He asked what, besides using the word leader, what does Dak do special? When I look at Josh Allen, the way that guy could throw the ball and run, that's a special player. When I see Lamar Jackson, what do you mean?
That's
When
what
I
I'm
see Josh Allen hasn't won shit. Lamar hasn't won shit. You don't think Lamar Jackson's special? You don't see Lamar Jackson and say, "Wow, that may be the best athlete on the field."
That's actually a really good question, man. That's got
It's
me
not.
thinking.
We're not talking about. He didn't ask who won. He's just saying, what do you see that he does special?
No, I agree with you. I'm
Okay,
not even,
That's
saying that for a while.
Dak doesn't do anything special. Dak is a Ford F-150. He doesn't do anything special.
Before
Solid. He usually is not going to hurt you, but he doesn't do a thing special.
So
well, you don't need
saying
special to win, though. I mean, at the end of the day, you just need a guy
I
that's
know,
going to
but
be reliable.
One at a time.
Wilson didn't ask that. Wilson asked the question, what does Dak do special? And I say he doesn't do anything special.
But
he wins.
He doesn't win. What does he win? Now we're going to go, what do we... You just yelled at me when I said Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Look at the holistic picture. I don't think there's a single trait that you can point to. If you're looking for traits, I don't think you're going to see that with Dak Prescott. You're not going to see the arm strength that some top line quarterbacks have. You're not going to see the accuracy specifically. That's an area where he struggles at times. He struggled throughout his whole career, so it is what it is. But holistically, is he a glorified bus driver? Is he a franchise quarterback? Because a franchise quarterback doesn't have to have like a special trait that makes them like special.
Well, he's definitely a franchise quarterback.
Well, he to me, he's a jack of all trades, master of none, which is
sure,
fine
right.
for me.
That's fair.
He's
That's
master.
very
He's
fair.
fine to me.
Wait a minute, Wilson, you there?
Yeah.
So you asked a great question. What do you think Dak does special?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, ever since honestly 2019, I've almost given up on him. Like I can kind of see it. I can see that he's not special, that he's not that guy. 2016, I was pretty much all in, just like everybody else was. You know, we won all those games in a row. I was like, all right, this guy's for real. Then the next year, it was like, all right. Second year, might struggle a little bit. People, teams kind of learn him a little bit. And then third year, fourth year, I'm like, all right, like something, it's not quite right. So I started to give up on him.
Now, I'm not
Well, I
saying
mean, I'm just saying. But my thing is, I mean, it's a good question, but what does special got you though? Only person that's special that's been winning is Pat Mahomes.
no, no,
Exactly.
no. That's no.
So I'm like,
That's
what are we
no.
talking about?
Dan
That's not
Marino was
true.
special.
That's not true.
Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl, but he's like the top 3 quarterback that ever lived. You know what special looks like when you're watching it.
I think there's
Now,
No,
about
but I'm saying though, recent
I think
person that's been
Oh,
the
love
special
this.
that's
point the point
Love
he's
winning.
this
making
conversation.
is
You're
being
talking
no,
about
no,
special.
no. Now, I'm not
Hey,
saying special and winning are the same thing.
Right.
You could win. Dak Prescott could win a Super Bowl. The
Right.
difference is he needs
yeah.
way more help
but guys,
than
you're
Rex
ta-
Grossman went to the
a,
Super
a
Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes.
you're talking about
Jimmy
so
Garoppolo.
you're saying this quarterback can take this team to the Super Bowl. He has no special traits. I think there's about 5 or 6 guys in this league that you can probably point to and say, "Damn, that's a special guy," or he's
Yeah.
got a
I mean,
really
Jalen
special
Hurts
trait.
got the Super
But hang on,
Bowl. Is he
hang on, listen.
special?
No,
You're
he's not
still gonna
special.
pay if you have a quarterback, even if he doesn't have that one special trait, and he can be a franchise quarterback and a leader of your team and lead the team to the Super Bowl. If you have that guy, teams are gonna pay that guy more often than not, and he's gonna make whatever that next money
Totally
is.
agree. Totally agree. I mean,
It's still a
but
fair
you know
question, though.
that leadership thing, I think, starts to fade. You know, Jim Kelly took Buffalo to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all 4. I think after a while, the players start to look at him like maybe this dude can't get us a win in the
Well,
Super Bowl. You know,
I don't mean lead the team as in being a leader. I mean he's just at the helm, so it's just naturally
but
he's the leader of
Dak
the
is
team.
considered a leader. That's what we, you know,
Sure, that's his special trait. If you want to give him a trait, that's what it is.
talking about Dak is talking about if going on a blind date. You know, you have a friend say, "Hey, I got this girl I want you to hook up with," and the first thing you ask is she cute? And he says, "Well, she got a nice personality." That's
Yeah, that's
Dak.
pretty much.
The first thing they
Yo,
talk about Dak is his leadership. It's like this invisible thing you can never put your finger on, and that's not a good thing.
all right. Someone explained last year that because you know what, what you're saying to me, I used to be on. What you guys are saying is how I used to think. I used to be like, okay, this guy's clearly just not. He's not that good. He's not as good as what people say he is. And then last year he had a great year, and then
Oh,
I
yeah,
was like, you
Oh,
know what,
he's
bro?
good.
Hold on, Rob. Let him make his point.
I was like, bro, he had a great year. So I don't know how much longer can I sit here and kind of be poo on him. But I don't know. How do you explain that as far as
And I feel
is
like that's something, sorry to interrupt. I feel like that's something that we see a lot from Dak. He'll have 10, 12 good games in the beginning of the season. And then toward the end of the season, last 4, 5, 6 games or so, you kind of see it fading away. And then it leads into the playoffs a little bit. He did have that good playoff game against Tampa, but like we just kind of see it like every year. He starts off strong and then kind of fades away. This year, it's kind of the opposite. So maybe we'll see the other way around. Maybe later in the season, he'll start to put it together. I don't
You
know.
know, Dak's special trait. This kind of jogged my memory going back to last year. Last year, he became somewhat of a field general. He was diagnosing shit before the play. He's very smart. Understood defenses very well. All right, and not a lot of quarterbacks have that. It's not a very common thing nowadays. These guys are relying on their athleticism. They're running around a lot. These field generals don't really exist, and I think Dak got close to that status last year. I don't think he was a genuine field general like we've seen from like Romo and those guys from the past. But that was his special trait, if you want to say, from last year, and I think that just comes with experience and his learning ability, I guess, if you will.
I
Well,
think
they
that
say they compared his mindset to Peyton Manning in the past. They say he reads and analyzes plays like a Peyton Manning. Not saying he's up to that
Dak.
level, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
Hey, Manning.
Trash, whoever said
yeah.
that must have been drinking. I think
Yeah.
Dak is a.
Okay,
No,
I think
I agree with that, though.
I think there's
yeah.
3 types of quarterbacks in the NFL. There's good, very good, and great. Nobody sucks. You're a professional quarterback. There's only 32. I think Dak is good to very good. I think he's top 10. Where you want to put him, 10, 9, 8, somewhere right there. but he's not special. He's not a playmaker. Everything has to go on script. One thing about Romo was a playmaker. Now, his playmaking
Hold on a second. I can't hear you guys.
Would get a screw too, because Romo would throw some picks that you'd be like, what are you doing? But then he would make plays. He was a playmaker. Dak is a more of a, you want to use the term bus driver. I think he's better than a bus driver.
Again, he's better than Jared Goff.
No, he's not. He is not.
He is better than Jared Goff. Jared Goff is in the perfect system imaginable.
Wait.
He's
Jared
better
Goff,
than Jared Goff. Jared Goff is better supported.
Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams,
and then they traded him.
But look at the team he had, though, brother.
With Detroit.
But they had a better team. Both those teams were better.
They traded him.
They traded him because they had Goff.
Okay, Rob. Tell me why they traded him for Matt Stafford. Then, if he got to the Super Bowl, he's got it. Tell me why Sean McVay was like, yeah, I can move off of this guy.
That too. But
why?
Well, I don't know. That's a coaching. That's a coaching.
No,
deal.
it's McVay saw that they didn't have the team. The team that you put together for Stafford versus the team you put together for Jared Goff.
So then, how did he take
wildly different
teams to the NFC Championship?
Go look at what he did in the playoffs, Rob. Go look at his playoff
hey,
stats and what he did in the playoffs, and then you let me know.
Were either those teams better than any team that Dallas has had recently? Because I think that both of those were. I think the Lions team last year was
No,
better.
I don't think so. I don't think the Lions were better than us last year.
Why did they get to a Super Bowl, Rob?
Was better. I think
you remember who ran for us for 250 yards in the playoff game?
Yeah, exactly. Go look at seriously. Go pull up Jared Goff's stats.
I don't think Dak is better than Goff.
I think he is, but the difference is their front office knows. Here's the problem with this between the two. I think he is a better overall quarterback than Goff. The problem is,
no, I don't think so.
Rob, okay, but the problem is they understand what you already mentioned this. You're talking. You're defeating yourself because you said, well, this front office just thinks that they can just not pay Dak and they can just not support him and make him.
Let me put it this way: I thought Dak was better than Goff a couple of years ago when he ran.
He is, dude.
No, now that he doesn't run, I don't think he's better.
Is better support. Okay, flip it. Tell me that Dak isn't having a better season if you flip these two.
I can't. You can't, dude. I
Yes,
can't.
you can. You 100% can.
Yes, you can.
That's like saying if Troy Aikman was on.
No, it's not. It's actually very viable. Okay, let me ask you. Why do you think Detroit built that team the way they did?
Because they're smart.
Yes, because they know what Jared Goff isn't.
No, every quarterback needs help. Everyone.
Okay, and have we done
every
that?
Every single quarterback. Yes. What do you mean?
Do we have a great running game right now?
Okay, but this is this year. We know this year they suck. But last year they were very good. The year before that they were very good. I'm not saying Dak is trash. I think Dak is
our offensive line as good as Detroit's?
No.
Okay.
I think Goff is better than Dak. But see, I look at it
he's throwing guys that are wide open.
Here's a perfect scenario. I love Tony Romo, right? And I thought Tony Romo was always better than Eli Manning. He was not.
Yeah, he was.
When you look at it, Eli Manning was better than Tony Romo.
Stop
okay, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
It doesn't matter, brother.
Yes, it does.
You just said Dan Marino was a top whatever quarterback he's ever won a Super Bowl.
He's the only one you could use that argument with. That is it.
Come on.
He's the only guy.
No, you will never
reason Jared
convince.
is having a season is because he has more support. They built that team.
Giants did not have more support.
No,
with
I'm
Eli
saying
Manning.
Jared Goff and the Lions. They know what Jared Goff isn't. I don't care. Anybody. I have
maybe
my whole family are Lions fans. When they made that trade, they were real disappointed. Now that there was actual plan that was put in place,
I start to look at players, and there's just something about a player that could take their team to the next level, and Tony Romo couldn't do it.
Rob, hang on. That's not fair. That's not fair. If Patrick Creighton catches the ball in 2007, Eli doesn't even win the ring.
Dylan,
but that's the point. You can't say this guy. But listen,
you can't play that
for
game.
the love of God, listen. You can. Because you have to take the context into play. You've got to have context.
At the end of the day, you either hit the ball or you strike out. It's not what if.
Rob, this isn't baseball, though. You're not swinging a bat and striking out. You're talking about Romo put the ball where it needed to be and Patrick didn't deliver.
Okay,
it doesn't
that
matter.
Eli Manning had to make to win the Super Bowl.
He wouldn't have been there if Patrick Creighton caught the goddamn ball.
Listen, he did it twice. We're not talking once. And I'm not a huge Eli
And
Manning
you know what
fan.
happened twice?
man did it twice.
Hold on. You know what happened twice? The defensive line absolutely put it in Brady's ass both games.
They ran the ball and they played defense.
Listen. Winning is all that matters.
Yeah.
But winning is not a quarterback stat, and you'll never convince me of that. I'm sorry.
They ran the ball. Dude, he was better in. Okay, I'll say this, Rob. Here's where I'll concede. He was better in the big moments.
Okay, that's all that matters.
But a better quarterback, he is not. There's two different. Those both things can be true, though. That's the thing. This isn't a black and white like it.
Listen, I use the Dan Marino thing because he's the outlier.
Okay.
His stats
was Eli Manning special?
No.
Was
No.
Tony Romo special?
No. He was a playmaker, but he wasn't special.
Okay, now you see, but you because my point is Eli Manning wasn't special, is what you're saying.
Dan Marino was special. John Elway was special.
Eli was better supported for sure. That team.
Joe Montana wasn't special. Joe Montana was just awesome. But you looked at Joe Montana, he looked like an accountant.
Was it Joe Montana and nothing else on that
team? No,
team?
of course not. He had one of the greatest teams ever.
Right. That's my point. So when you say Jared Goff is clearly better.
I didn't know. Wait. I didn't say clearly better.
Okay,
I think he's better.
He's not better. You can go look at the numbers and whatever.
Wait a minute. Statistically, they're like tied.
This year, he's playing better.
Through his career, statistically, they're like tied.
I'll tell you right now. I'll look up these stats.
I'm pulling them up right now.
Listen, when we argue rings, like usually that's what separates quarterbacks. Like I always use the ring thing as the tiebreaker. So if you said to me, if I said Dan Marino and you said, well, no, I think Tom Brady, I got to give it to Tom Brady. He's got
all right, hang on.
rings.
You want to know what Jared Goff did in the playoffs in 2018 when he won his
No,
first...
no, I don't want to know the playoffs because I don't. What?
Well,
what
that's what we're talking about, is it not?
No. We're talking. We're not talking about.
I got you. I got both of them.
He got one touchdown pass in 2018 in the playoffs.
Stats?
Hold
on.
Not
far off.
Go ahead.
Here, the career stats.
No.
Yeah.
I got them right now. Hold on. I got.
We can't go playoff stats.
Well, that's what we're talking about. No, he sucks in the playoffs. That's the point. Jared Goff had one touchdown. He had one touchdown and 2 interceptions in 2018.
We're not talking the playoffs. We're talking overall.
No, those the stats he just gave you.
As a career, hold on. I'll do it. Let's just Dak Prescott's career stats. 31.
Well, how many years? Are they the same amount of years?
Same amount of years.
Okay.
Dak Prescott, 31,061 yards, 210 touchdowns, 80 interceptions, 98.3 passer rating. Here's Jared Goff's. 1 second. 32,039 yards, 195 touchdowns, 86 interceptions, 94.3 passer rating.
Okay, so they're not far off.
Let me ask a question. I gotta ask a question. You said Jared Goff is the better quarterback because he had playoff success. Therefore, looking at the playoff
not
stats,
playoff success. He went to a Super Bowl.
Exactly, but Rob, my point is he rode the ass of his running game in the playoffs. He didn't do shit in the playoffs. He had a better team, and so he won in the playoffs. It had nothing to do with him. He was the ultimate bus driver.
It's always something to do with the quarterback.
He was the ultimate bus driver, and he did great in the role that he was assigned. He was not special, is the point.
I'm just using that as the tiebreaker because statistically they're very close. So
I don't care about career statistics. We know that they're very similar quarterbacks. You're talking about.
Here, I'll break this right now. Has he won a Super Bowl?
No.
Okay, neither one of them has. So I don't want the Niners argument. The Niners argument that Niners fans use, and I apologize to the Niners. Actually, I don't apologize if there's any Niners fans here. I don't care that you made it to. Whenever this comes to I'll make it a bigger, broader topic. When it comes to Cowboys and 49ers, we made it farther the last 4 years. We made it to the I don't. Did you win?
No, but they've had way more success.
No, I don't care. Did you win?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Well, it doesn't matter when we're comparing these two franchises.
It does matter.
No, you're not. It's the truth of the matter.
So you think Niners fans, when they get into argument with you, Robin, they say, "Well, at least we made it further." Do you think they're happy with their 4 NFC championship games?
But that's not what we're talking about.
I'm saying, but you said Jared Goff. But you said Jared Goff. Well, he's been to a Super Bowl. Great. Did you get it done?
He's been he took 2 separate franchises, one to the Super Bowl and one to the NFC Championship game.
Did you
we
get it done?
haven't done that in 30 years.
Did you get it done?
Travis, I'm not saying I love Jared Goff.
You said Super Bowl. You said rings are the tiebreaker.
He's been better than I think he's better than Dak.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I'll agree. Is he better supported? Yes or no?
The Rams, I don't remember. In Detroit, I'd say we're about
The
even.
Rams, you don't remember when he had a running back that ran for 253
What I
yards?
was against us.
Guys,
Against us.
guys, this is very simple. He was very well supported in 2018 because he threw one touchdown in the playoffs. He had one touchdown pass.
I don't think Detroit was better than us last year. We beat
Do you
them.
think they're better than us this year?
Oh, of course.
Do they
I
have
think
a better?
Detroit
Do
had
they
a
have
hell
a
of a team
better
last
supporting cast around him?
We sucked this year, Travis.
Okay,
But
he's better supported. You can just say yes.
But
he is.
But we don't know what happens. We don't know how this year is going to check out. All I'm saying is, up until this year,
What I'm saying is it's a byproduct of his play. He is playing easy football, and I'm not. That's
Do
not
you
a
think
knock
Matthew
against him.
Stafford is
He's
better
playing-
than Dak Prescott?
Yes.
I think Matt Stafford is a better quarterback. Yes.
Okay.
You see, you
No,
tried
but
to get me, but
Travis,
you're not going to get me on that.
No.
Travis, you're exactly. They have such a good scheme and such a good system over there that you're talking.
Do you think Joe Burrow's better than Dak Prescott?
This team looks like 2016 Cowboys.
Lamar Jackson.
Every single thing was easy. Every single thing was easy.
Josh Allen sort of wishy-washy to me.
Oh, let's figure this out right now. Where's Dak Prescott in the rankings among us? Because this is where
I'd say about 10, 10 or 9. 10.
I think he's like 7.
Yeah.
And I have like Jared Goff fringe 10.
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Everybody take a moment to think about where he is. Let's take a actually hold on. Let me pull up a list of quarterbacks and let's just say, is he better than them or not? And we'll just agree.
While he's looking that up though, Rob, there's no way to deny. Like, I give Detroit credit because, like I said, this is what the Cowboys aren't doing. To your point, do I think he's Mahomes? No, I think because what you said, you made a good point. Because they paid him 60, they think he's going to do Mahomes things. When they need to look at it and go, look.
Well, I don't even think they think that.
He's a better quarterback than Goff, but we need to support him like Goff. If you supported him like Goff, he'd be a very productive quarterback.
I think he might be a little lower than we might think. So obviously, okay. So Patrick Mahomes, no. Lamar Jackson, no. Josh Allen, no. Can we all agree?
Yes, we agree.
Josh Allen, I don't necessarily agree, but
I don't necessarily agree with that either.
That's fine.
He makes a lot of boneheaded plays as much as
I
he
agree
makes.
with that, but I think the majority of people would agree that Josh Allen has a special X factor that Dak Prescott doesn't have.
Correct.
Okay.
So then let's go C.J. Stroud.
Jury's out on that. I think he's better than
CJ.
I think he's better than CJ. CJ's only played 1 year. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's too soon.
Joe Burrow's better.
Joe Burrow's better. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers as of right now. Today.
Dak's better. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Jordan Love today.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Jordan Love's only had 1 good year.
Okay.
Not even.
Justin Herbert. But keep in mind.
Yes, Dak's better. Herbert has the look, but he hasn't done shit. Dak's better.
That's fine. I actually don't agree with that, but that's fine. Jalen Hurts.
Bro, you don't agree with what? Back up. Hold up. Back up. You said you think
Herbert's better than Dak?
Herbert's better than Dak?
Because I do think, first of all, Justin Herbert plays in the AFC West with the fucking Chiefs. And then they also the Chargers haven't necessarily, although they did make some big pickups, they haven't necessarily been healthy throughout the entire time.
He hasn't taken his team to the playoffs.
They lost. They got to the playoffs and lost. Yeah.
Justin Herbert, I liked him in Oregon.
Again, he plays in the AFC
You know who
West.
Justin Herbert is? He's the guy that plays in Jacksonville. When you come out with such hype, you automatically start so high. It's like you never drop. But Herbert has not lived up to the hype, and the dude in Jacksonville has been awful this year.
So where's he at right
now?
now?
What about the AFC West? Only team in the AFC West that does anything consistently is the Chiefs.
I know, but he's saying that's the stopper though. Like he's not gonna have.
So where are we at number wise? Where we got him right so far?
So far, he's better than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, no, not 5.
He's probably like
so
7 right now.
He's not better. So
he's better than,
probably 7.
Yeah,
6 or 7.
He's better than 4 quarterbacks so far. Here's Jared Goff now.
Dak.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, Jared Goff. Dak. Tua Tagovailoa.
Dak.
He's better than him.
You got Brock Purdy.
Dak.
I think he's better. The better quarterback than Purdy. Purdy's a system guy, but I don't know. Maybe I'm
wrong. Stafford.
No,
I'll take
Stafford's
Stafford.
So
I would take Golf. I would put Golf above him and Stafford right now, especially.
Okay, so Dak's down to 6th right now. So he's 5 quarterbacks better than him so far. So let's go to Baker Mayfield.
Dak.
No, I think Dak's better. Baker Mayfield may be playing better this year than Dak, but I still think Dak's
easy.
better.
That's the argument I just used, and you said no.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Jared
You really
Goff,
keep-
you literally
Jared-
just stepped in your own crap.
What do you mean? Jared Goff's better than Dak this year, and I think he's better
He's
all
playing
around.
better.
Well, what are we talking about?
You just said that about Mayfield, though. He's not a better quarterback.
I don't think I don't.
So if
okay.
Herbert was playing better than Dak this year, you would say Herbert. You'd flip your mind
No,
and say that.
no,
Herbert's
no,
better?
no. I'm not
Okay,
just
then how is it not possible to be the other way, Rob?
What do you mean? I think Goff is better than Dak regardless of this year. I think Goff is better.
Well,
I would rank
I would
Goff
love
better.
to execute that trade, and I'll take Dak with the Lions, and you can have Goff with the Cowboys, and you would be a one-win team right now.
No, you want it because I paid Goff 50, and you're gonna have to pay him 60.
You paid him 53. You didn't pay him that much. That's the other part of that, Rob. You didn't pay him. It wasn't like you got him on a discount.
Listen,
and yet they still support him.
I think Goff's better. I think 2 is not as good.
I think if we're voting in the room here, I think you're going to lose that bet.
That's fine. So where do we got him at now? 7th, 8th, 7th?
No, he's still at 6. He's still at 6 because we have him.
Well, Stafford, we got Stafford above him.
Yeah. So right now it's Patrick Mahomes better, Lamar Jackson better, Josh Allen better, Joe Burrow better, Matt Stafford better. Matt Stafford.
Okay.
Better.
Golf. Okay. For the sake of argument, we'll put him above Golf. Who else we got? I think that's about it.
So here's
ain't no much after that.
How about Kirk Cousins? How you feel about Kirk Cousins?
Dak.
Don't you start that, Ray. Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
I'll tell you right now, Dak is Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins got more grit than Dak. That's the one thing I do like about Kirk Cousins.
Are you fucking kidding me? What?
No.
I do.
Wait a minute.
I do like Kirk Cousins.
Grit my ass.
I wish Dak
he's
had
had more
Kirk
playoff
Cousins
success
grit.
than Kirk Cousins.
My work here is done, Davion.
No. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is better than Dak. I said I wish Dak had the grit that Kirk Cousins plays with.
Hey, did that grit help him out when he lost to the Giants? Danny Dimes in a playoff game? Are you kidding me right now? Come on, Rob.
I watched
Stop
Kirk
that
Cousins
shit.
beat
What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I watched Kirk Cousins last year beat the shit out of the 49ers, and I never seen Dak do that.
Okay, what about Russell Wilson?
No.
Dak.
Okay, so that means Dak's the 6th best quarterback in the league.
Hey, hold on. I got a better question out of this whole situation. Now, who are you going to replace him with that's better than him at 6th that's available?
You're not okay. You're not going
Nobody.
to replace him with a better one, David. And I'm not saying you are. I do. The part that I do disagree with when fans say, "Well, if you get rid of him, then you're going to go back to quarterback purgatory." It's not the same type of thing where it's going to be Quincy Carter, Clint Sterner. Trust me, I know all the names.
I'm not saying that. I'm
but remember, when we say that though, as soon as you say that, people go ballistic and they go, "Oh my God, I don't want to go to quarterback purgatory and have Vinny Testaverde and Clint Sterner and Drew Henson, my guy from Michigan, who's a baseball player." There are a lot more quarterbacks that I'm not saying it would be better. I'm not saying that at all. But there are a lot more quarterbacks now where if you had to have a bridge guy for a year or two, you can do that and be competitive.
Yes. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you 100%. You're 100% correct there. All I'm saying is that instead of us bitching and complaining about the guy, we are what we are. That's who we have. It's not like we're not going to go trade Dak for Patrick. We're not going to go trade Dak for Burrow. We're not going to go trade Dak for any of those guys. I'm with you, Travis. We have to build around him and make him look like a Patrick or like a Burrow or like these guys that have a supporting cast around him to get him to the next level. Right now, the Cowboys are this. Bottom line, we could say whatever we want to say. The Cowboys go if Dak goes. If Dak is on his A game, and you can tell right away, because I agree with Dylan. There's times where you could see it's going to be like, oh shit, this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be ugly. You can pretty much tell right away. But when Dak is on his A game, he can compete with anybody.
The problem
right now, the
Dak
Cowboys,
the A game.
the Cowboys are this.
The Giants.
The Cowboys are this. Dak goes, we go right now. And unless we change that, then that's what we're going to get, and we just have to accept it.
I think that Dak goes when the O-line goes. If the O-line's good, then Dak's good.
Of course.
Yes. Hey, who could look this up? What is Dak? Because I saw this and I didn't believe it. What is Dak's record against teams with a winning record?
Yeah, but you can
do
that with
say that about a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
well,
you really
but we're talking.
We say that, but if you go look up other quarterbacks, they're not.
But we're not talking about other quarterbacks. My knock on Dak.
But it's the context.
Go look at
though,
Patrick Mahomes' record. Hold on. Go look at Patrick Mahomes' winning record against winning teams. Dak's got a better winning percentage
No,
against teams with winning records than Mahomes does.
there's no
That's a bullshit
possible
stat.
way. There's no
If that's
possible way
true, then
that's
that's
true.
Hey,
There's
Go
no
Rob.
way
look it
that's
up.
Hey, Rob.
We just looked
There's
it
no
up the
way.
other day.
There's no
the
possible way.
only guy who had an excellent record against winning teams was Tom Brady. Every other quarterback is like
Yes.
is around
But
500
Dak
plus or
has
minus
a
a smidge.
very
100%.
bad. Dak has a bad record against winning
No,
teams.
I'm telling you right now that's incorrect. He's
That's
about average.
incorrect,
standard
Rob.
in the
You let
league,
you
though,
let the
Rob.
media get in your head, Rob. That's
Rob,
incorrect.
that's a
He
Pull,
standard
pull
in
it,
the
pull
league.
it up.
no,
What's the?
no.
Do you
No,
know what his
no.
record?
I'll-
What
I'll-
was the record last
Rob,
year?
Rob, that's a standard in the league. That's a standard in the league. That's very standard. There's very few.
But
Exactly.
wait a minute.
Tom Brady's
Our
the
knock
only
on
quarterback.
Dak. What is our knock on Dak? We're all sitting here. What is the biggest knock on Dak?
28 and 34 against winning teams.
I don't. To be honest with you, I don't
No,
really
no.
have
What's
a big
his
knock
big?
on
But
Dak.
what's the biggest knock on Dak?
Okay, my biggest knock isn't about his record. It's that he won't use his damn legs anymore.
Okay,
That's my
but
knock.
what is Dak's biggest thing? He doesn't win in the playoffs. He doesn't
Listen,
beat teams
Breeze
in the
didn't win
playoffs.
in the playoffs till he won a Super Bowl. Josh Allen doesn't win in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson doesn't win in the playoffs.
Josh Allen's got a way better record
He's
than
been
Dak.
to 2 AFC Championship games. I don't like when people do that. I mean, I'm not even a Bills fan. I have no dog in that fight. But let's stop. Getting to an AFC Championship is something to be like, okay, we're building
We haven't
towards something.
done it in 30 years.
Like I'm not. We gotta at least. Give
My
props
knock
that
on
they-
Dak Prescott is I think he's very good. I think he's top 10. We just established we all have him in the same 6, 7 range. We all kind of agree on that.
Yeah, he's top 10.
My knock on him is when it comes to playing teams like the 49ers, he doesn't beat them. And when we go to the playoffs, he doesn't play good in the playoffs. His best game in the playoffs was when he was a rookie against Green Bay.
Okay, but here's to Travis's point right now. So
I think it was
is
Tampa
Brock- is
Bay when
Brock-
he took out Tom Brady, but that's just me.
Hold on. Is Brock Purdy a better quarterback than Dak Prescott?
No, we said no. We said no.
Okay. But guess what? Brock Purdy went to a Super Bowl. You know why? Because he has a great surrounding cast. That's why.
Okay, but
that's why.
But
You're
are
not
we
going to win.
sure?
I don't care who you are. Aaron Rodgers has only won one Super Bowl. There's a reason for that. Peyton Manning won 2 because he got lucky when he went to Denver.
I know, but we haven't got past the second round.
Dude,
Dak
it happens. Peyton Manning did the same thing.
Dak, listen, we could say we like Dak. He's a cool dude, great man. That's all true. But he sucked. He has sucked in the playoffs.
Okay. I'm not going to
Except for when he didn't,
I'm not going to sit here and disagree that he hasn't had great games in the playoffs.
He's underperformed in the playoffs.
He hasn't yet. He hasn't yet.
But we're only living right now, and
he hasn't
we
yet.
don't know what's going to
That
happen.
doesn't mean that he's not capable of it.
I didn't say we can't win with him. He just needs more help than a guy. He shouldn't.
Okay, bam, bingo. You just.
But he should wait. But he shouldn't need this much help to make it $60 million.
If only he had as much help as Jared Goff had in 2018 and 2023.
Rob gonna ride on that $60 million. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is now. Shit, he got paid.
Drop that kind of.
His agent won.
I'll bring it back around so we can move on to a different subject.
I'm about to move on to bed, so hey, Travis, why don't you wrap this one up, brother? Because I got it. It's midnight. I gotta hit the hay.
Okay. So at the end of the day, we are going to find out as we sort of started this, and I like it. I'm here for it. I know it's fun conversation. But at the end of the day, Dylan mentioned that we're going to have, what was it, Dylan? $85 million in cap?
Something like that, yep.
Okay. We are going to find out if this team, where they, A, view Dak, and B, if they're going to support him. Again, if they go into next year and they give you the spiel of, well, Rob, well, David, well, G-Man, we see, we paid Parsons and we paid Jake, and that's all you get. And if that's all they're going to do, then that is a gross, it's either negligent or stupid. Pick either one. Either one's terrible, and it's not supporting Dak, which is why I've been talking about the run game. Granted, I know you disagree with that, Rob, but it's just where that's going. They have not – they need to come to Jesus and go, look, like I'm saying, like, and we can disagree on this, Rob, but I'm saying I think he's a better quarterback than Dak, but we need to also understand, they need to understand he ain't Mahomes, which I think we all agree with too. And I think they have this weird, to your point, Rob, they have this weird thing in their head where they're like, yes, because we paid him $60 million, he should be Mahomes. However, it's kind of flawed because Mahomes' defense is playing out of its mind right now. And when they do lose a guy, i.e. Isaiah Pacheco, they go and get Kareem Hunt. When they do lose receivers, they go get a guy in Juju Smith-Schuster who everyone thought he was a bum, broke, tired, retired, shouldn't be in the league, and yet he's catching 7 passes for 130 yards because the scheme is good. And then when he goes out, they go out and get D-Hop. So this team is going to show you going into next. If Jerry the whole front office says ultimately, hey, this year was going to be a lost year or whatever, fine, I'm here for it. But if they go into the next free agency and they don't do anything to help their quarterback, then we're going to look at this and go, okay, we have our answer. Like they're not doing what they need to, because again, we can disagree on Goff, but you look at what they did. They paid Jared Goff $53 million. They got him a running back when everyone said, don't take a running back in round 1. They said, F that, we're taking Jahmyr Gibbs because he's a game changer. They went out in free agency and they got David Montgomery. They went out and drafted a speedster in Jameson Williams. They went out and drafted a possession receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've had such good tight end run. They traded their tight end Hawkinson to Minnesota, then drafted another one that we all liked in Sam Laporta, and they built up their offensive line, paid their offensive line early. So all those things.
Defense.
And the defense, they spent capital there. So they've built it, and keep this in mind too, to G-Man's point just now, they built the offense first, then started addressing the defense. So we can sit here and say whatever we want, but at the end of the day, if we get to free agency and they haven't made any moves in 15 days, then I'm gonna call the fight off right now and just say then it's never gonna happen because they're not supporting him. And yes, 100%. I agree, Rob. If they don't support him, no, he is not good enough to be Patrick Mahomes. You are 100% correct. He is not good enough.
Neither is any other quarterback in the league.
He's not good enough to he can carry a team with nothing. Yes, he needs support. Are we upset about the $60 million? Sure. I just knew it was going to be that because that's the quarterback market. But ultimately, they have to figure out a way to support him. Otherwise, the next 3 years are wasted. Period.
100%. I think you should end on that note. That was very positive. Good
job.
Yeah,
hey guys, just FYI on the next one, I might change these to Wednesdays because we had a pretty damn good turnout tonight. Maybe we'll do it moving forward, but I think we're gonna stick to the mute button next time. It's got a little wild tonight, which was fun, but got a little wild. So I think next time we're gonna go raised hands, mute, and then try and figure that out. We started that way. I gotta stick to it. I think the whole way through because it got a little bananas, but that's all right. It was all in good fun. So.
I think this was the best one we had.
I loved it.
Yeah. Trigger warning, Rob. That's your new nickname.
Hey,
Jesus.
Wilson, that question you asked was phenomenal, bro. Mad props to you. That was a good one to close out.
That was a great question. Hey, and it's probably me, man. I'm a first timer on here. I get a little crazy. I apologize.
No.
Hey, I'm that way too, David. I've told Irene several times. She's got a special word to say, like for me to tell me to shut up. So it's not you.
Listen, I don't think Rob knows where the mute button is at, but that's okay because he's our favorite guy.
I want to apologize, but being Italian,
you're good.
Brother, there's so many Italians in here.
And
yeah.
There's a word
Dylan
for
and I are both Italian.
That means
and Kyle,
which means you talk a lot.
You're good.
And just that's unfortunately that's.
Listen, we've been listening to you on Storyline for a long time, man. We know that you run long. It's all good.
You're good.
You know what? Vinny looks like he's Italian looking at his profile.
Yeah.
It's a European thing, man. I'm Portuguese. I do the same shit.
You're good.
But I gotta tell you, Wilson had when you could ask a question and everybody gets all riled up, you know that was a question. And David, I love all the passion from everybody.
Yeah. We want everyone. We want everyone back, but I agree with Dylan. We'll do the mute thing just that way, and it's not so nobody can talk. It's just so we can hear someone's point, and then we can go. And then if Rob goes, "Hey, I want to counter that," go nuts. Go do you, Rob? That's what I would say.
I don't. It's really nothing to counter. I think we're all on the same page in the sense.
No, it's counter.
That's the fun part of football.
It's boring if we all agree though.
And I just think, listen. We'll see what happens the rest of the year. Hope for the best.
Hey, anybody who's not in our StoryLiners page, I think just about all of us are here, but anybody who's not, check us out. It's the community. Go to the search bar on Twitter. Just type in Cowboys Storyliners, and you can join the community. We keep the chats up there, too.
We got to get Nick on here. He'd have a blast.
Hey,
bro, I did this whole damn thing for him, and he's been here once. What's going on?
I think he's afraid that we're going to I don't know.
I think
talk
he gets
about-
enough shit during the week. I think that he gets enough shit during the week from us calling. I think he's like, I'm fed up with these people, bro. I'm not doing this on my extracurricular time.
probably.
We do have an anonymous listener, and occasionally that has been Beam. I doubt he's on this late.
Beam's joined in before though,
He's
unanimously
done
or
it
whatever.
a few times. Yeah,
Josh Rodriguez jumped in here one time too. It was kind of cool.
that's right.
But no, it was tonight.
We got to get Mr. Yeomans in here.
I know he's in our community, but we got to get him jumping into one of these calls.
Yeah.
I talked to Beamer about this. I want to try to get one night, maybe during the off season, where there's like 3 or 4 guys from the Cowboys podcast crew on here, and they can just take like one question at a time and just answer it and just hang out with fans. I feel like that would be super cool.
You were just reading my mind, Dylan.
Cool.
We should just pick one. We should pick one person, somebody in there, and just spam them. And just say just say, hey, would you be open to like jumping in?
I think
like I said,
we could do on the phone.
I think I'm in good with the talking guys these days. Maybe I'll
we got to get
pass them.
Mickey Spagnola in here.
Hell
you and
no.
Mickey.
That would be hilarious.
That's trigger warning part 2.
I grew up with Mickey. I love Mickey.
Rob, you want Mickey in here because then it would just be you and Mickey. No one
We're Italians.
Such argument with him. It was great.
Oh damn! All right, y'all. Well, hey, everybody have a good night. All right.
That was awesome.
All right, good night, y'all. Have
We'll
fun.
see
Good night, guys. Thanks, man.
See you soon. Bye.